Episode 121 of the Wilderness Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Support the show at patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast. Our supporter of the week is Meltin. We're also brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/wild to get a free month and a free audiobook. Welcome to episode 121 of the Wilderness Podcast. I'm your host, Dilz, and with me is Deagin.
Hey guys, how's it going?
This week we get some more poll questions as we continue on with our quality of life month. The theme this week is the reruns. So some of the previous questions that came close to passing that didn't pass are being re-polled.
And they actually forgot to poll one of them, I believe, from last week.
Oh yeah?
They slipped it in this one, yeah. They make a little... We'll talk about that one too.
Interesting. As for actual updates, we get the change to some of the boss heads and a little bit of Chamber of Xeric tweaks. Not a whole lot's going on this week, though. For community chatter, EHP rates get some tweaking. Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm. I'm actually not too sure when this happened, but I noticed it this week, so I just made a note of it. So everyone, those big competitive skillers probably know about this already, but I don't know when the exact changes came, but so we might as well talk about it a little bit.
But not just that, yet again, Runelite gets a pretty interesting new plugin, which apparently OS Buddy already had, but we'll talk about that later. And I guess the topic, it's probably surrounding these new Iron Man specific accounts. I don't know, we'll see when we get there. We'll see how that conversation goes. But before all that, as usual, Deagin, what have you done?
What have you done? Work, RuneScape, and playing the new early access. No, and I've been playing a bunch of Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I know there was that new Battle Royale game that came out, which I'm assuming is early access, which
Actually, it isn't.
Huh.
And believe it or not, I refuse to play it.
Why? Apex Legend, is it?
Yeah. So I think it's by EA. I actually don't know too much about it.
I know it's from the makers of Titanfall.
Yep. It's on Origin client, the game client.
Oh, so you can't play it on Steam.
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
Like Epic Games Launcher, Uplay, Steam.
Yeah, I don't like using... I like Steam.
Discord now has its own games. Like Jeff Bozo, can you just buy all these and just make Amazon Victory Royale?
We're going back to Amazon, eh?
Can you just can you just monopolize? I hate having 8 clients. I have to find which one's downloading when I start lagging on RuneScape.
People hate monopolies. You hate a variety of choices. Is that it?
They're all bad except for Steam.
Yeah, even Steam has its issues.
Uplay's kind of cool though, because you get achievement points and you can buy in-game cosmetics with them. That's cool.
All right.
That's cool. But I don't know. They're all trash in their own way.
Yeah, fair enough. But you played RuneScape, so what happened there? Any good drops?
Nope.
Nice.
Did some Slayer. I'm 52k away from 99.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I could have got it a couple days ago, but yeah, just taking my time with it.
All right.
Started my plans for post 99 Slayer.
What's that? What's that looking like?
I'm not going to do the Tebow rebuild. I mentioned that last episode.
Why not?
Because it's too all in. I don't so if I can pretty much rebuild right now. I can do a Tebow rebuild right now if I want to. But that's the only thing, once I do that, I'm limited to 3,000 Zulrah kills.
Yeah, fair enough.
And that's just not fun. I don't want to,
Do you think you're going to do a semi-bank clean out to get that Tebow at some point? You're going to hit a point where you're boom, going to sell the Dragon War, going to sell a bunch of items, but not every item, so you're not stuck with just the Tebow. Maybe you keep the, Dragon Hunter Lance. Items like that?
Well, if I were, I'd keep all my range gear and I'd sell everything else besides the Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides my range gear and get the Tebow. But the way I'm planning what I want to do is pretty much grind out every elite diary that I'm just too lazy to do and start working on farming, sadly. Because that's like the one thing gating me from Farming Guild, obviously. Because I haven't even entered. I hate farming. I hate it. Haven't even entered the Farming Guild. And I feel like I should at some point.
Would be nice.
I mean, I can enter it, but I don't want to. And 85 farming is kind of gating me from all the elites. It's actually, all I need is 91 rune crafting and 82, or, well, I guess 85 now with Zia, farming. And those are the only skills gating me from all the elites.
So what's your farming at now?
77.
Ooh, okay.
So I could stew boost to 82 and get all of them done at Zia, but at some point I lost my cat.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how. I could have just like had the cat in my inventory and died. I actually have no idea. Like, I don't know if it works like that. I don't think I've ever died with a cat on me.
Where are those animal activists when you need them?
Yeah. I don't really remember how I lost it.
Rest in peace, Whiskers.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like, I need to, like, I want to max. It's kind of like what my main feeling is right now. Post 99 Slayer. And yeah, so I've been kind of playing that out. Get as many elites done as possible. Make rune crafting less painless. As of right now, I can buy 99 crafting.
Ooh.
Well, I can't bank it. I can juggle my current money, or I can just like sell off like my ancestrals and buy like most of it and then like kind of flip as I'm doing it and sell off like however I want to do it. So I did the math. If I want to do battle staves, like it's about 40, I think it's 41.1 mil. And then if I want to do black D-hides, which is way, like 3 times the speed, 82.6 mil, I think. Going off the top of my head. But it's like double the money for like triple the speed. But I'm kind of stingy, so I just might do air battle staffs.
It is nice to just drop a bunch of money to get it done as fast as possible. Get it done and out of the way.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of have loose plans, and I've been playing around with it just because I don't want to like fully commit to one route, because like it is super easy, and I think a lot of people fall into this trap and this is how you get burnt out. It is super easy to set a route and set a long list of goals, but then once you take a step back, you're like, oh, I just planned out what I'm doing for the year on RuneScape, and you're like, I don't want to. That's gross. Like I did like a whole route, and I'm like, okay, I have every 99, every diary. I have like, okay. Around, I'm guessing, like, you know, these quests will come out, so make notes, do these quests on release so we can actually talk about them. Instead of, like, weeks and months past, and it's like, I never even did that quest yet, you know, and it's, like, irrelevant to talk about. But, like, it's super easy to say, like, yeah, get 91 rune crafting, and then recolor my graceful finally. I'm at, like, 86 right now, and I'm still in basic colors, and I've collected every mark I've ever come across.
Yeah, okay.
A nice stash. And then it's like, okay, so once I get Cramja Elites done, I could do the tickets to recolor my Graceful, the Broomhaven.
Mm-hmm.
Get that dark blue.
It's a good looking
and then
one.
get 99 agility. And then it's like, oh, well, I just planned like a couple months of RuneScape in like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So
it is a bit overwhelming, isn't it? What I like to do, I like to make a list of these goals, but they're like sub goals. And then I kind of just do whatever I feel like, which usually turns out to be Slayer, but has also recently been like Wintertodd and maybe runecrafting. But if I'm ever bored, I don't know what to do, that's when I look at those little goals and I'm like, all right, I'll do these diaries. Or maybe I'll do some Barbarian Assault because I want to get maxed levels or whatever. So you'll crack away a little bit at each time. But I never sit down and like, I'm going to do all this right now. I'll do a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, then we'll figure out what I want to do then.
I like to see, I don't know, like, not, like, grind one level in one sitting, but, like, let's say I'm doing runecrafting, I'll do runecrafting, and then by the time I go and bank, like, the blood runes or whatever, I, like, see my bank value jump up a couple mil, and I see, like, my, like, 10k bloods going to, like, 20k or 30, you know?
Yeah.
I like to see, like, the visual progress so it doesn't feel as bad, instead of, like, banking 1 or 2k at a time. But I've gone through a couple, like, routes, I guess, of, like, how I want to do it. And the main reason why, after my Elite Diaries, I want to do 99 crafting. One, it's pretty easy to like visual thing again. You know, sit down. Hey, I'm going to dump 100 mil. Cause it's like, even though I said it's going to cost, 81 or whatever, 82 or 41 mil.
Yep.
If I want to bank it, it's like 600 mil or 300 mil. You know what I mean? Like you need a lot of money to like straight up bank it. But the benefit of getting crafting early is that if I decide like, okay, after crafting or whenever I get to like rune crafting, I can do blood runes, but it also opens up lava runes too and mist runes. Mist runes for if I want to make a little money with less experience, but it just opens up like a lot of different skilling techniques or skilling methods, sorry, not techniques, and then also PVMing in general. It's the closest bank.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big one.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool. I like it. It's a cool cape. And it's like one of the most expensive too. So that's one thing I'm like keeping in mind is that like I could sell off my entire bank instead of doing a Tebow rebuild. I could just get all the Bibles done, sell them, and then do things like hunter, mining, like go to blast mines. Wintertod, kind of. You don't make too much. You make some though.
Yeah.
Farming if I want to do herbs for some reason, but no, you lose a lot of money there.
You are for the fast experience, but yeah, you can make money through some of the not the potato cactus, but the cactus spines.
Yeah.
Some of that. Yeah, the herbs are a big money maker.
But definitely wouldn't use that to get 99.
No.
Maybe offset some of the costs, but then also like, yeah, if you get all the Bibles done, like you're done spending money to progress your account.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I could do like 99 construction if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But like it's super fast. It's I think a bit more. I think it's like around 90-ish mil last time I checked. It was a while since I did the math how much it would cost me.
It is expensive.
The only thing that's offsetting are home teleports.
What do you mean?
Like cost-wise. Or anything like
oh,
that.
like the benefits?
Yeah, it's like I don't need home teleports anymore.
Yeah.
There's probably some more benefits, but that's the only thing I can think of right now off the top of my head.
What about that dungeon? I want to get 99 construction. I made that as like a resolution probably like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
I got to like 82 and then tapped out. It was that was a stupid grind of mine because I was like, I'm going to do master clue scrolls. I'm going to do one master clue scroll no matter what the requirements are for it. If I need to get like 88 agility, I'll do that. I never had to, thank God. But I think I had to get 77 and that was brutal. I complained a lot about that. And then the reward that I get from that master clue scroll, I would use that to train my construction. And I was going to keep doing that till 99.
Nice, 400k. I'm buying a couple planks. Let's go.
That's exactly what happened. And I got to 82 and then I tapped out. But the main reason why I wanted 99 construction was not for all the benefits, but I just wanted to have a pimped out house and I wanted to have an awesome dungeon because nobody cares about the dungeons anymore. But they're super cool. If we had like an event or some like house party thing, they're really fun to go down because there's monsters to kill. It's PvP. I mean, you can't lose items, but you can still fight each other. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of cool stuff.
Battle Royale. We could have our own Battle Royale. Oh, Last Man Standing didn't work, so I don't know.
Rest in peace. That's why I wanted to do it. And what's crazy is I know there was at a point where you would go on the wiki. People cared so little about the dungeon that there were no pages for some of the dungeons.
Yeah.
Like the best monster you can get from it, which I believe is a steel dragon, wasn't even listed on the construction page.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I think people have it so you drop down in your dungeon and then a bunch of steel dragons attack you. Or maybe they have a room with a bunch and you do that to charge a DFS.
Oh, that's
a
good idea. I mean, now you have the potions.
Yeah.
But before, that would be pretty good. Although a lot of what I usually do is I go to Zaya, the catacombs.
Yep.
Go to the bronze dragons or something.
Yeah. Definitely a cheaper way to do that.
But anyways, yeah, that's why I wanted to get 99 construction. But yeah, anyways, as you said, it's fairly expensive. Fast experience, but it's very click intensive. So
I don't mind like the effort. It's just like the cost. And so like I like kind of what I'm thinking is after 99 Slayer, PVM a little bit, and then just kind of like get my skills up as well, which is like another thing with crafting where it's quick and it's pretty laid back. I can like do other things even at work. I could just like craft while I'm like reading a book or hiding in the bathroom so no one knows I play RuneScape. No, but like all seriousness though, like it's pretty like chill.
Yeah,
and you know it once you got it, you're kind of fine. Yeah, but like I've been kind of tweaking it, trying to think of like keeping like efficiency in mind. So get all the diaries done, put all the lamps towards rune crafting, so I can get 91 as fast as I can. I'll just go through like what I have planned, some of it what I have planned quickly. Get 91 rune crafting, do Kramja elites for the tickets, for the recolor, for agility, and then either do 99 fishing at the barbarian like fly fishing stuff.
Yeah.
But before that, do the new aerial fishing so I can get the equipable the rod.
Oh, and the rods, yeah.
And then the fish, and then the back piece, because Fashionscape,
hell yeah,
it's always nice.
Plus, it's free hunter experience.
That's a good idea, but now I don't want to do that. Mainly because after fishing, because you get agility experience doing like the barbarian fly fishing, I would do Winter Todd, only because in between Winter Todd rounds, you can hop the obstacle course thingy.
Oh, yeah,
you get agility experience. And then after that, depending on how I'm feeling, get 98 Herblore, not 99, 98 very specifically, or 99 agility. Like I might go in between doing both those at the same time, just depending on what I'm like doing outside of RuneScape. Reason why I'd get 98 Herblore is because after Herblore and agility, I would then hunt Herbivore until I either 1, get the pet, or 2, get 99 Hunter.
Okay.
And with the experience, because I started at like 77, I would boost for Hunter to do it, because you only need to hit like 80 or whatever when you start the Herbivore. You don't have to maintain the boost. You only need it for when you first start the track. But on average, you should be getting the Herbivore pet by the time you get 99 Hunter.
Okay, cool. Not bad.
Yeah. So if I got Hunter and no pet, then I just move on to the next skill. If I get the pet, then I would just move on to Black Chins.
Yep.
The herbs you get from Herbivore is dependent on your Herblore.
Okay.
So I could make more money doing Herbivore and also save money. Like I'd be making around 33 mil doing Herbivore grind.
It's not bad.
And then save a decent amount of money in Herblore as well. And I'd finish that off afterwards. And then from there, like the list goes on to like buyables, offsetting it with like blast mining and stuff like that, and blah 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 blah. And then I'd like just be able to, if I'm getting bored or burnt out, I can AFK like redwoods, which I've been doing while I play Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, okay.
Because you also, with the Infernal Axe, you bank less, and you also get free fire making experience.
Yeah.
So it's like best of both worlds.
And the logs are worth like 350 GP each, so you don't feel bad for burning them with the Inferno. Like I feel bad using the Inferno doing magic trees. 1.2k. Shit, I don't want to get rid of that. Gotta be cheap here.
Yeah, I mean, people commonly drop the logs. I don't, because I'm cheap, but...
Yeah, I don't, and I find it's faster for me to bank.
Really? You can just hold shift and like...
Yeah, but also when I'm doing redwoods, I'm probably playing something as well. So it's easier for me to click once to go down the ladder, then click once to get to the bank. And then I'm, as he's running, I'm probably still playing the other game. Go back, click to pause it all, run back, up the ladder, back to clicking.
Truth. Okay. But yeah, what'd you do this week?
Let's see. My week, not super exciting. Although me and the girlfriend have been like thrift store shopping. So that's kind of fun. Thrifting, yeah. I've just been going there and like looking at all the books. I find myself just picking up all these random books that it's gonna take me forever to even look at them to read. That's the problem. I've been reading so much lately, although have started reading the RuneScape books. By the way, not bad. They're pretty good. We'll talk about that more later though. Yeah, anyways, just been browsing thrift stores, which is kind of fun. Anyway, RuneScape stuff, though. I mentioned last week how I'm kind of all over the place depending on what I'm doing. So I'm still kind of doing that. I got 83 rune crafting. It's nothing big, but, slowly working there. And some nights I don't really feel like doing anything super intense on RuneScape, so I'm just doing rune crafting or doing some winter tot. I'm at 93 farming now. I almost said winter totting. But yeah.
You mean fire making?
Yeah, fire making, geez. Mm-hmm. Getting over a little bit of an illness, so my brain's a little jumbled. And yeah, doing my farm runs. At this point, I'm kind of doing it like once a week. But I do a full farm run where I do all my herbs, I do everything in the farming guild, I do all my trees, and I end up getting I'm at 93 farming right now, I believe.
Nice.
I get 25% from doing a full run. It takes me 40 minutes or so, and I'm not super efficient doing it. But
40 minutes? Ooh.
Well, like I said, I'm not
awful Facebook game.
I'm not super. I actually find it super satisfying though. I really enjoy doing farming. But I've been waiting for the redwoods to finish and the Hespori to grow so I could fight that. Doing all of that, and then your mahoganies on Fossil Island. You get 25%, and it's just kind of unreal, right? For the most part, that's pretty much all I've been doing. I haven't really done my Slayer. I'm still on the Alchemical Hydra task, but yeah, I just haven't felt like cracking away at it.
The first one?
Yeah, it's still the first task. I just haven't finished it. I need to sit down. I got 40 more to kill, but just recently just haven't really felt like it. I'm kind of similar to you. I'm on it feels like the maxing mindset, not so much the money-making mindset. Even though everything I do, I kind of weigh out, will I make money off of it doing it this way? But I'm sacrificing experience. I'll still probably do it that way. So It's nice to make the money as well. Yeah, just kind of bouncing all over the place, really. So nothing too exciting there. With that being said, though, let's jump right into that news. Before we start off going through all the dev blogs from this week, let's revisit the polls that we talked about last week, which had to do with skilling. So the first question was the Ring of Forging, which allows you to make iron bars 100% of the time. It has 250 charges or something like that. Normally, iron ore is a 50% chance of it turning into a bar. But the question was, should it be available for free to play? Which did pass. The next one was, should empty jugs and vials dropped in Wintertot and Blast Furnace areas be vanished? Because right now they just appear on the ground, which makes it annoying for other players to click on it. Yeah, that one did pass as well. Next would be, should there be a visual indicator that the Hespori plant at the farming guild has grown? This way you could see whether or not you could kill it without actually having to enter the cave. Also passed. That super confusing question with the volcanic ash about you being able to retrieve more volcanic ash depending on your mining. I'm not going to read the actual question because you stroked out last week trying to read that, if you recall.
Yep.
But it did pass. And then should the wyverns on Fossil Island drop volcanic ash? Did pass. The watering can you get from Teeth Farming that has 1,000 charges. Before you had to spend Teeth Farming points, but now you can just use it at a fountain. So yeah, that one did pass too. Now the question that was, I don't know if it's controversial, but we were debating it before, about sandstones being able to be used in place of buckets of sand, similar to how seaweed may be used in place of soda ash when a player casts a lunar spell, Super Glass Make. Yeah, that was confusing to read. Basically, asking, should we add a new lunar spell where you can turn sandstones into buckets of sand, which did pass.
Well, originally it passed. They decided not to put it in the game.
Oh. The magic skill guide that you can click on the magic skill and it pops up has been tweaked so you actually have the icons of the spells instead of just a generic magic spell symbol.
Same thing with prayer and all that.
Same with prayer. Enchanted jewelry now automatically goes through when you're enchanting jewelry. Splitting coconuts, also it is now automated. And then putting coconut milk into vials, also automated. Filling watering cans is now automated. And lastly, creating Serum 207s is, again, also automated. So every question passed from last week, except for the one that you had mentioned, but we're going to go into that in a second.
Yeah, well, Jagex does talk about why it passed, but they're not going to implement it, and I think it's something we should discuss in general, but they do have a little side note after this week's updates.
Oh, right, so let's get into that.
Yeah, so you mentioned at the start of the episode that we're talking about reruns, things that have almost passed, and Jagex is like, let's try it again, you know? So, first one, which is super interesting. Poll question 1. Should the wilderness ditch be replaced with a barrier that you do not have to click on? This barrier would require confirmation on a warning screen before you may cross to prevent luring. The warning screen may be toggled off via the screen and re-enabled by Doomsayer and Lumbridge if desired.
I like the ditch. I think they should keep the ditch. It looks fairly normal. You don't look at it like that looks, but a barrier, I'm picturing the barriers you might see, I don't know. I can't even think of an area you see them, but they're everywhere. Like Barbarian Assault, when you're trying to cross into the rooms to find a group, there's a barrier there, which is just like this force field looking thing, right? Chambers of Xeric, there's another one.
So if there is a physical, so the way they word it, I don't know if they mean, here's a graphical barrier that you just can run through. Like, you're just not going to be able to click through like entering Ohm fights.
Yeah.
Or the Barbarian, it'd be that. Or I think they're talking about if you get within, like, say where the ditch tiles are, it would stop you. Screen pops up saying, you're about to enter the wilderness. This is what the wilderness is. Do you want to see this again?
Right.
So the reason why it's interesting is that the ditch was added to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, it wasn't, and there was a huge uproar when the ditch was actually first added.
Oh, yeah. You had it from all angles, from PKers, normal PKers, from lures, of course, right? That's why it was put there, was to prevent people from getting lured, and the rune crafters.
Yep.
People did the math that it would add like an extra 20 hours from going from like level 1 to 99. I don't know the exact number, but it's like you click it and it adds like 1.5 seconds per jumping over it.
Yep.
So then as you're doing that, you have to do X amount of abyssal rune crafting runs in order to get to 99. So
pouch breaks more. Oh, no, it doesn't break more, but
yeah,
it adds more time.
So
I wish it would. Because I never liked the ditch. I think the ditch is pretty ugly, but I do feel safe chilling near the wilderness because there is a ditch. I won't accidentally walk and die, but I think it should be removed mainly on the concept of like I was against the ditch being added and now I'm just used to it.
Yep.
More of a principle thing. And then 2, if it's like old school, like I know it's like saying like, whoa, we play this game for nostalgia. Like that's kind of not true anymore because like the game is so different.
Oh yeah. Nostalgia wears off pretty quick.
But even then, like, we're kind of at the line of like if someone who played the game in like 2004, 2005, or even 2007 were to like log in, like it's not going to be the same as it was. Like our first time playing was like 2003, 2004, in that around that area of time, and I
think it was July 2003.
Yeah, sometime like that. If I were to like have like played it for like a year and then never played it again and played it now, completely different game. Obviously, because there's been so many updates and minor changes that it kind of like stockpiles.
Yep.
Like, who's this NPC? You know, hate us because they ain't us.
Yeah.
Why are guys in iron armor shooting spells at these rats and spider? You know, like just like everything has changed, so it's kind of like,
and people will, if a new player, especially all the new players that came in from mobile, the game itself, it's going to feel very similar until they start going to the wiki to like wiki stuff. They start playing the game enough where they're going to be doing more research into what they're doing, and that's where they're going to see, shit, why have I been picking flax and making them into bowstrings when
they're 1 GP now.
Yeah, like there's so many different things to do that I don't even know existed. Like Fossil Island, what the hell is that?
Yeah. So like to say like remove it for nostalgia is kind of dumb, but I do like the one thing I really like about the wilderness is and like RuneScape as a whole is that it's like it can be really unforgiving in terms of like PvP combat. I think that's why everyone likes it, even though people are like using AHK and like random scripts so they can switch their gear, and there's people have been banned recently from using a client that like botted for them pretty much in the wilderness, like did everything for them.
Check out episode 120.
Yeah. It's still nice to know that like if you just bad timing or something, right? Like you just go in the wrong place at the wrong time in the wilderness specifically, lose all your stuff. And I think I told that story when mobile first came out. There was that one guy that I was like kind of showing him around, and I'm like, dude, don't go in the wilderness. And he's like, man, I want to go in. So I went and brought, I don't know if it was him or someone else, but I brought him into the wilderness, and he tried attacking me, being like, what can I attack you? And he's like level like 5.
Yeah.
Like max. But then like 2 days later, he's like, man. So I was like, I went in the wilderness, bumped into this one guy, killed him, and he had like thousands and thousands of iron arrows. Like, I made so much money off of him. He just had all of his crap. If I felt really bad, ... but it felt so good. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get that feeling from like other MMOs, and the ditch kind of, I mean, obviously doesn't fully prevent it.
It's a clear divider, though.
Yeah.
You know that, I step over this, something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's where I'm kind of conflicted, too, because part of me goes, no, I want to be able to feel safe. I don't want noobs stumbling into the wilderness because the barrier's not there. That ditch is a clear indicator that click over this, it's all on you now. But you take away the barrier. But then as we're having this conversation,
it's like, well, there's a warning message.
Well, not even just that. I love, like, the wilderness is such a cool, it's huge. Yeah. It is huge, but it's void of a lot of things. You'll walk around, you're not going to see much to do. Mm-hmm. It's a large portion of the map. The whole area looks grim. You got lava, it's all dark, and it's just like eerie, which is cool. And as a noob, it's kind of, I feel like obviously could ruin someone's experience, but at the same time, you look on the map, you see this big area, and it looks just daunting, right? It looks just like a bad place to go. You really want to go there. I kind of like the idea, and RuneScape's such a sandbox MMO that you can accidentally venture into that area and get killed. But then that's how you learn. You go like, shit, this place is dangerous.
Yeah.
And I want to explore, but I know there's going to be so much risk. There's so much out there to explore, but, it's risky.
Mm-hmm. So the main thing is that, like, there will be a message until you tell it to not tell me again, right? There'll be the PvP message.
Yeah.
And, but, like, I wonder, like, if that isn't enough, then why aren't there, add an extra password to PvP Worlds, right? Add a ditch to PvP Worlds, because, like, warning, you're about to enter a world where you can get attacked by other players anywhere, which is way more scarier than, like, and easier to, like, do by accident as, like, a new player.
Yeah.
Especially, like, now there's PvP Worlds in free-to-play. There's no, like, world switch ditch besides, like, a message, right? 2 confirmations and you're in. And if you're not going to read something, like, that sucks. Like, you remember the whole gaming journalism thing where, like, the guy was playing Cuphead and he couldn't, like, get past the tutorial.
Okay.
Because he was, like, too dumb to, like, read what was on this, like, the images on how to double jump.
Right, yeah, he was ignoring all of that.
And how to dash in the air. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're, like, that guy, that journalist that humiliated himself, then, like, you're gonna die in an even worse way with more stuff.
Yeah.
Possibly. But, side note, do you remember your first time venturing to, like, the gates in the wilderness?
Like the gates from members to free to play?
No, like the edge of free to play wilderness.
Yeah, where like the greater demons are. Is that what you mean?
Like it's like 40 wilderness or whatever. Like, you walk all the way to the end. There's a gate, and past the gate is where I guess now Scorpio would be. And all that stuff.
I don't remember my
arena.
I don't remember my first time, but I recall the feeling of like you feel like you're so alone out here. It's like it's cool in an immersive sense. Where, as I was mentioning, why I love the wilderness, it's so vast and empty. Mm-hmm. But when you're there, you're like, I'm all alone in this area. But if somebody decides to show up, it's just me and him.
Yeah.
The chance of another third party coming, they'll be like, hey, help me. That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be you and him out there, and you're so far. It's like, it'd be like falling out of a boat in the middle of the ocean. Where you're like, shit, to swim to shore, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. I remember mine mainly because, like, I geared up in my, like, I remember seeing the wilderness and knowing what, like, Edgeville was in Varrock, because I'd go and PK there with, like, my friends after school, or my friends from school on the weekend, or I'd, like, wear my best black armor and have my grandma turn off my monitor, and I was so mad, and I died, lost, like, my black armor, I was pissed, but, I remember, like, the furthest I went was with my group of friends, and we went to the, Black Knight's Fortress. and one of them died, but we all escaped. And I was like, you know what?
Oh, you're talking about the castle.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, in the wilderness. Yeah.
Which used to be a popular PKing spot, by the way.
Yeah, multi, and it's like 20-ish wilderness. I don't remember exactly.
It's at a divider where there's like, it's multi, but there's also a few steps away, and you're in singles again.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even know how deep it is. I should know how deep it is. But anyway.
It's like 20, or I think it's like 17, actually.
Yeah.
So you can still teleport.
Yeah. So I remember being like, I want to explore the wilderness. I saw some sick PKing videos. I want to check out, like, I have no reference besides, like, on the website, you click world map, wait 10 minutes for it to load up, and then you just see, like, the wilderness, you know? And I remember, like, walking around, and there's, like, no one there. I had, like, my lobsters that I bought from someone, and, like, adamant armor, and, like, home teleport wasn't a thing. I had no tellies, like, nothing. I just, like, was walking around. I was, like, level 30 or something.
Yeah.
And whatever level I was. And I remember, like, being so frightened. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the edge. I'm going to the edge of the wilderness. Like, I'm going. I remember, like, going to the gate and being, like, amazed that, like, some dude twice my level can come up and kill me.
Yeah.
But then it's like, but if I find a level 3 out here, like, he's so fucking dead.
I am going to dummy him.
And then, like, I walked around for a while. And then, like, walked all the way back. So I wanted to have run energy for when I saw someone.
Yep.
Literally nothing happened, but it was like 2 hours of me just, like, walking around. And it was so fun.
Yeah, and you're just like, wow, it's just me out here.
Yeah. That's unrelated to the ditch. I just kind of want to bring that up because...
No, that's the thing, because I was saying, like, no, I don't want these new players from mobile to accidentally walk into the wilderness and die, and they might quit. But at the same time, like, when I played and there was no ditch, it was a big moment to stumble across the wilderness.
Yeah.
Take your first steps and you're like, I can fight people out here. If I die, I lose my items. But at the same time, if I kill someone, I get items. I don't know. To me, the wilderness, which is, I guess that's why we named the podcast this, but it was such an iconic area to me and to you as well, right? There's just, it's unique and I don't know. It's just like, there's something about it, something special about that area. So taking away that ditch makes it more immersive.
Yeah. But if it's a graphical barrier of like a smoky little bag, I'd be like, no, just leave the ditch.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it has to fit. Yeah. And
it's like the removal of the wall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do they want a wall? Are we getting a wall in Gilner now instead of the ditch? But clearly a ditch isn't working. They're all sneaking into Varrock.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is taking the ditch, is that going to cause more people to get lured?
The people that get lured are the ones that, like, don't read the message.
Not just read the message, but I feel like someone who gets lured probably doesn't have a lot of money to lose to begin with.
Anecdotally, I have a friend who got lured for a T-bow.
PvP world?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, the PvP world's different, though, because, like, yeah, I don't know.
It was him being dumb. I even told him he was getting lured.
Yeah.
He got lured anyways, but, it happens. But, like, it's always it's either happens out of greed or, like, you just are being careless. And then, like, everyone who's played RuneScape has been scammed or lured at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a bitter moment, but it's still, like, part of, like, the game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's poll question 1, if they should remove the ditch and all that stuff. Poll question 2, should the spell icons increase in size when you have filters enabled to better fit the magic tab? This change would only affect non-PvP areas and affect every spellbook. In PvP locations and relevant PvP worlds, the icons will not resize and automatically revert to standard-sized icons.
So, yeah, this was controversial when it first happened, but it was also because PvP was part of it. But I don't want it to become a common trend where all these UI changes are for just PvE and not PvP.
Yeah.
Where it's constantly changing depending on if you're... It's kind of annoying.
I would argue that it should be, like, if it is to pass, it should be in PvP.
Yeah.
The fact that, like it comes off as, like, Jagex is being really meta, and they want UI changes, and they want to just change stuff, but they're fighting against the community. I'm against it in general. Like, when this first came up, I was very much against it, and I was, like, kind of, like, circle jerky on the idea of, like, RuneScape has, like, one skill or two. The first skill is counting, and the second skill is clicking.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to, like, make it easier. Like, RuneScape's an easy game.
Yeah.
Like, you can do like a lot of things, and the thing is that like if you're gonna PK, and like it is much more difficult than to like kill a boss.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking more of like tri-breeding and stuff. Edgeville, I don't dabble with it too much. I just feel like you fight a Granite Maul Pure out on my Pure and you roll the dice. Or you fight a guy in max strength that won't skull at my level. And you're like, I'm not gonna fight you. What the hell? And people just like, oh, I want to do my clue scrolls, and I died because this PvPer was casting Ice Barrage, and I want it to be annoying for him. It's like it comes off as like really spiteful, or because it is true, right? PvMers don't like PvPers typically because I want to kill Callisto, and I died for it. Oh no!
Yeah, I want to be able to do it safely.
Yeah,
which defeats the whole purpose.
But when it comes to like PvM, you do a boss, like let's say you're doing Zara, and you throw yourself at it 100 times, like you're gonna have the fight memorized at that point.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
And if your vengeance is just like one big skull, like it's kind of weird that like that's okay getting proper venge timings, but not like barraging.
Yeah, like I was against it as well. I mean, I don't think I was as against it as you were when we talked about it originally, but I was reading some people discussing it on the subreddit, which helped me understand a bit for the people who are okay with it being implemented for PvP, whereas these PvP takes skill, but a lot of it is like your clicks, right? How accurate are your clicks, gear swapping and stuff. Like
it's speed. It's like very much like if you watch like and this is why there's so many people that like at high level, high risk fights that have these bots, because you have to accurately click and like not drag, but like actually click in a lot of different spots really quickly, and also manage your inventory at the same time because it doesn't always go back perfectly.
Yeah.
You have to like, while you're doing that, swap your overheads, cast your spells, whatever, click on them, move around to make yourself harder to hit.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot to it, but sorry, what were you saying? I kind of cut you off.
No, but what I was saying was like, someone had argued that when they're in a PvP fight, they want it to be me versus them, not me versus them and also versus my UI, not me versus the menu, because I have to be able to click these things, where it's kind of true where some of the skill that comes with it isn't necessarily directly against your opponent. It's how well can you
perform under pressure, though.
Perform through the menu.
But it's performing under pressure. Like, Jad Hands is a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's like it's a real thing because like, well, you gotta have to like navigate stuff, right? Like, what if they change it to prayers, right?
Yeah.
Where like now it's like 2 years down the road, you can take off prayers, because I don't ever use steel skin. I only really use like 6 prayers ever.
Yeah.
3 overheads, 7. 3 overheads, augury rigor, piety, and preserve. So why can't I just have that as one screen and make them all bigger, right?
Yeah.
So then it opens up the way. You know what I mean? Like, weird slippery slope. Well, I find that like fighting against the UI is, in my opinion at least, you don't like fight against the UI. A lot of it is like, it comes down to like muscle memory and being able to play anything under pressure. It's like WoW, I guess, in terms of like when you have UI like a high level for PvP or like raids and stuff. The UI, like when I say like fighting against the UI, it's that like you download add-ons to like help manage where you can move your UIs and like the looks. And then if it's like, or even like all your buttons and stuff, and then if it's like too much, like, hey, I want to raid, but I don't want to have to like keep track of 18 cooldowns, and then so Blizzard goes, we'll take some away.
Yeah. And
they do that every expansion to the point now where every class is 1 cooldown and 3 rotation moves, and now people are like, it's too, it's boring. Like, fighting against like part of the game, it's like it's part of like how you perform, right?
Yeah, but I can totally understand why some people don't find that fun. I mean, I can kind of agree. So I started thinking to myself, what would happen if you could hotkey spells? Let's say you could put barrage on Z. So you could push Z and then click on the person to barrage them. Would that make PvP easier? Like,
oh yeah,
it makes it easier. But am I going to be getting more kills now? I don't think it would change as much because I'm now not better than the person I'm facing. It just makes it easier for me to cast it, but they can cast it just as easily. It's still, the fight's still going to be hard. It's just less tedious now, I guess.
Like, that's a pretty good point. Like, if you're in a tribrid versus tribrid, but usually it's not just that. Like, if you're fighting other people, like let's say someone has like they're on normal spells versus like even a PVM or someone who's anti-PKing, right?
Yeah.
There will be instances where that gives you a very big air quotes advantage because they have the possibility of having the same spells as you.
Mm-hmm.
But it takes out like a level in the game that like at least I find that you don't need to like remove. That makes sense. Like, does that
I
make
get what
sense?
you mean. Like, all you're doing is removing a little bit of the difficulty. But see, this is where I'm like conflicted. Where I agree with you. Like, you are making it easier, but the fights, it's easier for you to learn PvP or to perform what you want to do in PvP. The fight itself isn't really getting easier because your opponent, you're not suddenly have an edge on your opponent.
So
He has the same thing. It's still going to be tough. It's still going to boil down to how well can you kill them. It's not going to be rolling the dice as much, I guess.
So the best like analogy I could give is like, let's say you're really into fighting games and you're playing like, let's meme a bit, Street Fighter or something, right?
Okay.
Let's say, I don't want to go, because I know like 99% of you guys don't play Street Fighter games, but...
I'm with you there.
So let's
never played it.
Let's say we're playing like Street Fighter 4 or like Third Strike, like, you know, and
Sure.
You're getting your ass kicked by like, who cares what the characters are? Because most of you guys won't care who the characters are. Let's say someone's beating your ass and you're playing like Ryu, who's like the main, the guy with the headband, the main dude that shoots fireballs.
Yeah.
We'll just pretend you're him.
Hadouken.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And this person's beating your ass and you're like, see, I know what they're doing. I know how to counter what they're doing, but the combos are so finicky and I have to hit them at the exact specific time that I'm actually fighting the game right now. Where like, I can do a Hadouken, I can do my uppercuts to counter, like, I know what I have to do, but I can't execute on it. Now that is really silly and I don't like that. I want to be able to have it where I can press a button or two and it just like, I can hit like hold left trigger and hit X. And now I do a Hadouken instead of having to do like quarter circle, like down quarter circle, like punch. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Instead of having to do like the analog and then timing. Okay. So like, and like that whole concept of like having to get like your frame perfect. Cause some of these games, like you have to hit it on a very specific frame for your combos to work.
Mm-hmm.
And like that part is really frustrating because you're like, I know I can beat this guy, but I'm fighting the game to beat him.
Yeah.
So then you're like, well, let's just make it easier. Let's open up the windows. Let's reduce the combo finickiness and like, let's make the game easier to play. It's not ruining the game because they can do it just as well, right?
Yeah, sure.
But now for the people that enjoy like a certain process, like there's people that enjoy grinding out, like getting like get good type of it, like that whole meme.
Yeah.
But like, maybe I should say like it's more appealing knowing that like having to like sit down and like practice like the mechanics of how something works. Even though like Street Fighter, it's hard to compare because Street Fighter is like much harder than clicking Ice Barrage on someone. But the main thing is that it does remove like a layer when it comes to having to like 4-way switch your overheads, move a bit, hit your Ice Barrage, and then pop out of range so they can't hit you back. Or now you're moving behind a tree, peeking in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And if people like aspire to like get to a certain level where they're like really good and like top tier, you're going to Dead Man Mansion thing that they did a bit ago, the PvP house, and you're like, I want to kill Bodhi on stage, right?
Yep.
If people want to aspire to that, like if you remove levels, it kind of removes the like skill ceiling as a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it kind of like makes it easier and
it brings it down a little bit.
But like that's kind of what the appeal is for like the hardcore community, like those people that will always want a PvP, not the people that want to try learning it. Because last year I was like, I want to get good at Tribrid. And then when I sit down and grind it for a day, I misclicked all the time.
Yep.
Anecdotally, I love that about games. It's like when I die and it's like even as silly as like I took me 3 extra clicks to do my ice barrage, but you're also nervous.
Yeah.
You're focusing on, oh my god, I'm in like full Arams and I misclicked my ice barrage. So when I went to go back and click it, because, misclick, oh shit, you have to react to it, click it, and he just specced me out and I died.
Yeah.
And you're like, ice barrage should be easier. And then, but it takes out like that, for me personally, that whole fun of like, I gotta sit down and like grind this out. I gotta find someone, go to like clan wars, and just like run around and dick around, or even just like go out there again and see if I can do better. Or the best feeling is when you notice someone's doing that against you and you're like, oh, he's just as bad as I am. Yeah. And you're like, now you're sweaty, your chair's stinking a little more. But I can totally understand if someone's like trying to get into PvP, they just find it frustrating and they don't. I mean, it's hard to, like, I'm not saying I enjoy dying. Of course I get pissed. Everyone gets pissed. But like, it's like a bittersweet, like, I can work on this. All right, cool.
Yeah, that's true. So it is tough because, like, I mean, I do find it kind of tedious to have to get these precise clicks on these small little icons. But really, like, as I'm thinking about this, I mean, people are going to hate me for saying this, but I don't know if I'd be totally opposed to hotkeying spells. I know that's not the question, but to me, it, like, makes me wonder, sure, PvP gets easier, and on the service level, the skill ceiling is being lowered. But I also wonder, would it open it up for different tactics and different maneuvers? Are you now able to do more? And another thing that I'm conflicted with as well is I don't like... So if you watch PvPers, like the high-end PvPers,
yeah,
they play with the smallest window.
Yep.
They have their screen completely small, which I can't play that way because I don't find it as enjoyable. I don't like having playing off like the screen the size of a Game Boy Color.
Yep.
So, but you have to do that because it makes your click distance a lot shorter.
Well, you don't have to. It's more of like, if I want to like jump over like FPS, a lot of it is that like, you're right. It's way better to play on like a smaller screen. But the main thing is that I'm pretty sure most RuneScape players play using their wrist when you use your mouse.
Okay.
If you think about it, if you just grab your mouse right now, or like, I guess if you're listening, like if you're moving your mouse, you're typically going to move your wrist.
Compared to what, your whole arm?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean.
So, but like if you go over like the FPS, there's people that aim with their wrist and aim with their arm. And that dictates the size of their mouse pad, their FOV, like at like high end level, right? If you're just a guy who like likes to like, get wasted and like play casual CS, dropping N bombs on people, like obviously you're gonna do what you want to do. But like there are people that play with the wrist and play with their arm. And that like dictates how they like having all their stuff set up. And like I use a little bit of both. That out of context masturbation joke I have, but like like I prefer full screen. One, it's just nicer to have like a full screen.
It's a better experience, yeah.
Yeah. Using your arm is a better experience. No, I'm kidding. But but like it's just like out of habit where like my Windows mouse is set lower than most people, and I'll use my, like if it's a big movement, just out of habit, I move my wrist.
Okay.
And so when I tried playing on resize, even on stream, like I'm overshooting everything because I'm like, you have to like use more of like your actual like hand motions.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer, but you're totally right because like the whole precise clicks make it smaller, so there's like quote unquote less room for error because there's less distance to cover. Yeah,
and you're able to, it's just quicker for you to move the mouse.
Yeah.
Really the answer to this debate, which isn't even about the poll question, but
no.
It just seems like there's two different type of people. There's people who think that fighting against the UI, quote unquote, but that's the term we're using right now, is part of the skill of PvPing, whereas others find it tedious and removing it would just make PvP more fun.
But I do think hotkeys is kind of a cool idea. I'm not saying I definitely wouldn't vote for it, but even though RuneScape 3 meme, but like there's probably like
to me
a client that does that. There's probably some underground client that you just like hit like Z and it just turns your like use barrage on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know like
to me that just makes it sounds like PvP would be more fun because I do find having to get these precise clicks, messing up, like, I don't mind messing up, but it's just kind of annoying when it comes down to it's clicking, and I don't know, just having hotkeys feels like it adds more to your gameplay.
Yeah, I think it just boils down to like the personality, like the preferences when someone plays something. Like I'm like a tryhard at like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, typically like, it's very hard. Like I can't like if you put me on Wizards 101, I'm gonna try and be good at it. Like I'm trying to try to like break the game down. You know what I mean? Like
So I've never even heard of this game.
number one family friendly MMO.
Is that how they market themselves?
No, it's just someone made a joke in a CS game like 4 years ago, and I've just stole it.
Oh, true.
Just
Okay.
picked it up. Or let's say like I noticed you play like Balloon Towers Defense.
Oh, I love that game.
I'm the kind of
phone.
person to be like, all right, well, what's an efficient amount of banana plantations by round 6? If that's even possible. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can get that way, but I guess it depends on the actual game style.
Yeah. Only reason why I'm talking about PvP so much is not even pulled for PvP is that if Jagex is purposely excluding PvP, for PvE, it's still doing the same thing, just to a lesser extent. The only reason why it's like hard to talk about is that the only real examples are like Sire and Vorkath. Sire for like the Blood Barrage.
Theater of Blood, probably too.
Theater of Blood, maybe.
Yeah, the first room, especially when you get to barrage the people.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. There's not many examples, but like, if you're copping out of like, we're not doing this for PvP, it just feels like you want it in the game, or the community wants it. Like, it's like, it'd be like, I want it, but I don't want you to have it.
Yeah.
It's very like.
So I feel like, stop making these changes for PvE and not PvP, because it just gets confusing. Like, you're basically like dividing the game into two separate games.
And you know what happens? Well, I went PKing for the first time, and Jordan Peterson. That's my horrible Jordan Peterson impression. My spells got changed, and I have never. Now I'm dead. This is stupid. PvP sucks. I like PvM because I can have my big spells,
mm-hmm.
but in PvP they're little, and like it's like if you go from full screen to to fixed, you're like you can't. You're like this. I have to play this, you know,
and it
makes PvP even less enjoyable if someone doesn't want to go through that whole process.
Yeah, and you're just putting everything's gonna have two different rules. Rule 1 if it's PvE, Rule 2 for PvP, like Toxic Blowpipe, Trident. They all have it already.
Yeah, even anglers
now. Yeah,
that which is like. Yeah, like, it's, you want to apply a change, like, it's an MMO, it's the wilderness, it's like, it's not...
But it's hard to balance it for two different game styles. Yeah, but that's what MMOs have to happen.
Well, like, the main thing is that, like, if the ditch gets removed, you could walk from PvE to PvP in, one tick. Like, you could just, one square, you know what I mean? Like, boom.
Yeah.
And then now it's, like, loading as your UI changes, and you're like, what?
Yeah. So, yeah, anyways,
if you're gonna pass it, give it to everyone. Don't be a dick.
That's the thing. And then bring us hotkeys for PvP. That sounds fun.
Man, maybe we should just slowly segue to an RS3 podcast where like I want pets. I want pets that imagine my pet Rock and like I can pick them up and smash them over people's heads.
Shit, that'd be sick.
But it requires items to summon them. So like some sort of not like a charm, something similar to that though.
Like a relic.
Yeah. And hey, I'm using it for combat, but it's not official combat, so we'll have like 2 combat levels now.
Yeah, and then the combat level fades when you get to... I mean, we're making all these changes for PvP, not PvE, so we'll just have 2 different combat styles.
Yeah.
2 combat levels.
And there we have it. We found the slippery slope, folks. It took us a while.
Yeah.
Poll question 3. Well, I don't have much to say about this, but... Should a divine sigil be added to the corporeal beast loot table? This would be created to use a divine spirit shield, the same way as arcane, Elysian, and spectral shields are. The divine spirit shield will have a 100% chance of reducing incoming damage by 30% at the cost of draining your prayer points by 50% of that 30% reduction. This will be added to existing drop roll for all spirit shields.
I do like this item.
I have never played RuneScape with this item in the game. That's why I don't really know if it should or shouldn't be in the game.
So, the reason I do like this item is because I want tanking to be like an actual thing in RuneScape, where it is, but
it almost was with Theater of Blood. It was so close with the first boss.
Oh.
Like when we were doing on day 1, we had like dedicated people in tanks and tank gear, which was sick, but now it's everyone in void.
And I don't want tank gear to be like, he might not hit you as often. Is that how it works right now?
Yeah.
You like it lowers the chance of him actually hitting you, so you get more zeros against you.
With Justicar, like it, it's pretty much just let's raise the defense. At least the only thing that comes close, or the only thing that like reduces damage when you take it. Yeah.
But with bad RNG, you can still get hit a max hit.
Yeah.
So I would love tanking to be like, no, the incoming damage you received is going to be lowered, because then it brings tanking as an actual position in certain rooms where like you have it now, but it's just like, I don't know, it's not your typical tank role.
Okay, if I had to figure out a reason why they're so against tanking, it's that the tank always gets screwed out of like loot unless you're in a clan that uses standard rules. Like typically, if you're doing like, let's say Bandos with your clan, they get all the Godsword drops, and I know some do. I don't know if all do, but usually the tank will get like a heavier split. But there are some items for each boss that requires a tank that they get dibs on, because you're not getting the kill count, you're not getting the chance to pet.
Yeah,
like if I'm tanking and you're in like max range with a blowpipe rigger, we're doing Bandos, I have to concede like 85% of the kills to you, which if we do like 100 kills, like that's 100 kills that I don't get added to my kill count. First of all, like I've done a lot of Bandos, but I'm always tanking, which I don't mind because I don't trust a lot of tanks. I look at my kill count, but then I have to have like a number in the back of my head of like, I've done like 4 times the amount of this.
Yeah.
But I'm always tanking. And that's a shitty feeling, knowing like how many kills I could have had the pet. I you know what I mean? If you're getting, like, let's say you're losing 75%, like 75% of the kills are going to a DPS, like you're like, not going to get a, well, you're probably not going to get a pet, but you're way less likely to.
You're going to hit a point where you're like, no, I'm not tanking because I would like to get this pet at some point.
Yeah, that, and you're also spending way more money on supplies. You're bringing more brews.
Yep.
You have to have more expensive gear. Well, now I guess with Justice Art and Ellie, if you're going for like the 9s, like top gear, you're investing a lot more. You're also like more susceptible to like get scammed.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But like, I love the idea of tanking. It's just that like, if they add this, like, I don't want loot share or coin share because that ruined the economy back in RS3. But like, I would like them to figure out how to make, at least to try it out for like raids 3, of like, you need someone opting as a tank, and here, even if it's like, this is the gear, they give you your own gear that you have to wear. Like, just as like a proof of concept of like, this is how they would do it type of a thing.
Yeah.
I would like treat it as like Barbarian Assault, right? Where you have to like opt in for roles and do specific things. But like, I want them to like fiddle around with it. The only reason why I can see people not being for the Divine is that it would change like something for someone doing solo bossing.
Yeah, maybe.
But I've never played with it in the game, so I don't really know what it would change. If I can't even like bullshit about it. Like, I have no idea, right? I know it's in the other like RS3 and stuff, but
yeah. I would just like a tank roll and not just it be like, I don't know, DPS.
And it sounds expensive as hell to use.
Yeah.
It sounds like, hey, we have 9 herb badges. Wow. Here's our answer.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Iron Man, go back to Corp. You don't have all the shields anymore. But yeah. Poll question 4. Should we remove hate us because they ain't us?
If that doesn't say enough as it is, well...
Yeah. They would add they'd add the functionality to G, one of the farmers found wandering around Lumbridge. She would take his place in Lumbridge and no longer wander.
So hate us because they ain't us. I mean, you've probably seen this dude who looks like he's straight from a private server wearing 3rd Age, a top hat, and a cane.
Yeah.
He's where you get your diary rewards from for the Lumber's diaries. He looks stupid, has a stupid name, and a lot of people don't like him. I would argue I don't know many people who do like him.
The only thing I would suggest, instead of G, have like
the Lumber's Guide. That's what everyone says. Why not the Lumber's Guide?
That's a good one. I was also thinking of like you go into the move it to the church and just have like another priest or some religious person there, and you just like sitting at a bench, you just talk to them.
So yeah, I'd say get rid of hiatus, but I don't want it to be G.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they should remove him. He's silly.
Yeah,
I ain't him, so I don't like him. Yeah, poll question 5. Should players be able to rearrange the order of the spell icons in their spell books? If this passes, it would only affect non-PvP, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty much the whole argument of
from earlier, but
like if you're gonna do it for PvE, do it to PvP. Don't be a dick. Like,
yeah,
I understand it's like hypocritical of like all the arguments we've been making about why it's bad for PvP, but you can't literally divide the community in terms of like how the game works in the sandbox. And like it's kind of like if it's bad for one community, there's a reason why it's bad for. That's actually a horrible argument.
But like you just don't want someone to get used to.
Take that back.
You don't want someone to get used to the PvE UI, and then they go to PvP and they're like, "Great! Not only do I have to learn this, but I have to learn why my UI is different."
I have to get used to like. It's just weird that like.
You're just gonna prevent people from wanting to get into for PvP is already hard enough to get into, but doing all these changes where it's like it's gonna revert to however you had it. You're not gonna be able to learn muscle memory.
Yeah,
because it's like everything's just gonna change. You're like, well,
it's like what is the rule of muscle memory? Like it's like you do something a day for 30 days, and if you don't do it for 30 days, you kind of lose it.
Yeah,
you can get it back, but like, it's like I think it's 30-day process to like obtain good, like high quality muscle memory. Does that make sense?
Excuse me.
But yeah, like I don't know. PV. Like,
well, this is what bugs me about all this. If we didn't have hotkeys and they were getting pulled today, it'd be the exact same thing. Hotkeys, so you can manage your your menus, would only be for PvE and not PvP.
Yeah,
like that's how it would be. But like no, back in the day they're like, no, it'll be for everything. So if you're gonna do it for one, do it for everything.
Which is like more controversial than like these, I would say, adding hotkeys.
Oh yeah,
that. No, yeah, I totally agree.
So yeah, there it is. There.
I wonder. I really hope. Just a quick side note. I really hope if these pass, Jagex goes, we decided not to go through with this. We just want to see how much of an asshole you guys are as a community.
Yeah,
and now. We're going to keep that in mind for future updates. Like, I would love... So, it was a social experiment. It was a social experiment. I would love for that to be a thing. Poll question 6. I actually kind of made a meme about this earlier, and here it is. Should players be able to rearrange the order of their prayer icons in their prayer book? If this question passes, it will only affect non-PvP areas. PvP, blah, 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 blah. Wouldn't be affected. Before. Same thing. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous that like this is 3 times in one poll, and they're repolled, and their solution is to just screw one whole community out of an update.
Yeah, and the more you do that, the less people are going to want to get into PvP.
And the main thing is that like PvE gets enough updates and quality of life as it is. Like,
if there's any side of the game that needs these changes, it would be PvP. Where you're making it easier for people to get into the game.
Well,
you can get more people who are easier for people to get into PvP who aren't already PvPing. But by doing it this way, you're doing the exact opposite. Like a lot of things, people want more people PvPing, like PvPers.
Well, I think the main thing is that, like I said before, if someone like is a PKer and they're in a PvP, they're really like into it and they don't want these updates because it fucks with them.
Yeah.
Like it fucks with like the core community, not just like the casual people that try it out. And that's why it's bad to add these updates. But like it's going to be harder to develop a core community if you're having these like obscure rules that like it guarantee you they're not going to be like when you enter the wilderness, oh, by the way, your UI is going to completely change to the default settings.
Yeah, or imagine you had, like, when you go to the PvP, it's going to work this way, but it won't work this way for PvE. Like, doing it the opposite way.
Yeah.
You could rearrange your prayer things for PvP-only areas. Every non-PvP areas would revert to the original form. Like, that's not going to happen either, so it's just, like, I don't know.
I just don't like how they're being repolled. Like, it just kind of, I don't know. It feels shitty. It feels shitty because I would not be surprised at all these passed.
Yeah, we'll find out next week, won't we?
Yeah, and like, I don't know. Like, PVM is easy as hell to get into. It's not, I don't know. It's a mental thing. It's pretty easy to do. In general, should the model of the armadillo helmet when worn by female players be reworked to be more closely resembling the male version?
Yeah, it looks pretty stupid right now. If you haven't seen it, take a look at the models. Like, it looks like a totally different helmet on a female.
Yeah,
looks like almost like a steel helmet. Like, it's stupid. It looks like a coif.
Yeah,
like, yeah. Why pull it? That's what I don't understand.
It should be like a graphical thing they put in other news. But yeah. How did that fail?
Yeah, that's spite?
Is there another division between guys who pretend to be girls online and guys? This is a boys only club. I mean, girls don't play video games. That's a fact, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Poll question 8. Should the skill guide be updated to show the relevant prayer icons?
So similar to the Magic that just passed.
They just didn't poll it.
Yeah, they mentioned it last week's dev blog, but they didn't put it into the polls, so
yeah,
whatever.
That guy that was making the worst wording, the polls, the worst ways of wording them.
The guy who was fluent in Latin.
Yeah.
And they were translating it.
Forgot one of them. Maybe that's why there's so many issues reading some of them. Maybe like this one got jumbled with another one and Google Translate just like made one weird thing. Anyways, poll question 9.
Move this over a bit.
Yeah, poll question 9. Should the Dragon Defender model be reworked to appear more pink or more red than pink? Because it's a little pinky.
Yeah. Same with the Armadillo.
I think this is the third time it's been polled, and they were including before and after images, and then
again,
I think it was a circle jerky thing about keep it old school. And that's why I wasn't passing. I don't really know why.
The Dragon Defender wasn't even in Old School.
I mean, same with the Ditch.
Well, the Ditch came, like, I don't know what year the Dragon Defender came out. I mean, we have the Power Gamer.
No, yeah, you're right. I think the Ditch did come in before 2000. Wait.
Yeah, the Ditch came in before 2007 because I was still playing it. I quit when the Wilderness got removed. But the Dragon Defender didn't exist.
Okay. Yeah, my timelines are all messed up nowadays, but
I think it's the same thing with the Armadillo question. I don't even know why you're polling it. Just change it.
Just make it look like a Dragon Defender. I've never, honestly, I have no issues. I never thought it looked pink.
No, but it looking more red will make it look better. So then why not just do it? Small change. No one's even going to notice.
What if it looks worse though?
Good point. I don't know.
Because they included images last time, and this time they're not including images on purpose.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep. Poll question 10. Should the players be able to click the special attack or buy the mini-map to activate their spec? This would only work outside of PvP. Yep.
No. I mean, it's kind of silly. And again, just these are 4 changes, right? Imagine they all pass. How long until the 2 different games?
Well, not just that. It's just like there's 4 things right there that like lower the like little like a timing, counting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And clicking. It's like I don't know. Does everything always have to always become easier? Fun fact that I actually don't know if this is true, but I read it like 8 times. I read it this week. The past 4 months, the max hit for melee has gone up by 1. I haven't even realized that. On average, like every 4 months, it goes up by 1.
Okay.
It's kind of fun fact. Might be completely false, but I saw a lot of people referencing that.
Which maybe it's time to bring in the tank gear so you can mitigate some of that max hits.
But if all of them were to pass, then like PvE just got like a lot easier. Especially when it comes to like rating and stuff, because there are people that are very uncomfortable using F keys.
Yeah, I mean, it takes time to get used to.
And like this negates one button generally for specs. I mean, if you want to do the proper attack styles and stuff, you're still gonna have to like go to your attack style. But like, it's still one thing that like it just makes it.
Which I don't necessarily care if you want to do these quality of life things that are gonna make it a little bit easier, but don't do it for one side of the game and not the other. Think of it as like, is it good for the game? Right? If it's healthy for the game, then it's healthy for both sides.
Yeah, exactly. You have to keep into consideration of every walking life, even EHP nerds.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's truly good for the game, it should help every type of community flourish in some way, in some form. If you have to put these obscure barriers and like, you get this, Timmy, but not you, Tom. IIIOO000 name that you can't call out while you're planning. Like it's then there are some like fundamental issues with it. And yeah. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, that's it for the questions there. Fun.
So now we get to discuss from last week's skill poll question number 7, I think it was. Yeah. So the question was, and it did pass, but it didn't get implemented, but I guess we'll just go over it again. Should sandstone be able to be used in place of sand buckets, similar to how seaweed may be used in place of soda ash? So if a player is to cast lunar spell Super Glass Make, the sandstone, is going to be a replacement for buckets. Soda ash or seaweed would be used in replace of like either or,
Yeah.
And then they have they make it so 1 kilogram, because they're the different weights of sandstone give you different amounts, and their way of balancing it is using the lowest amount would give you the most, and blah blah blah. You break them to whatever. So this passed by what was the numbers? Was it 88%? 83% said yes. 16 said no. Thankfully, Jagex listened to the I don't want to say high end because it sounds like elitist, but the serious Iron Man community, the core Iron Man community, how about the invested the people that have already invested time into the game mode, because this is ideally or honestly whom it would affect is Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
And so if this were to be passed, it would change the crafting meta drastically. I don't know what the numbers were before, but it would create crafting experience of 1 mil per hour.
Damn.
Which you could get 99 crafting in a day. There was also, I made a note, but there's this one quest you can do in the desert where you get the Camulet amulet.
Yeah.
You can use that teleport, and there was a sandstone pile you could click on and gather a bunch.
Okay.
You could get a full inventory, tele to a bank, tele back, and you could go back and forth. And people literally, because this update's going to pass. We know it. Hot propaganda has been spread all week. And people actually banked 99 crafting, knowing this update was going to go through.
Huh.
And so they, with doing let's just, with this update in mind, people were able to bank 99 crafting and be able to get it in a day. That's the big thing, is getting that 1 to 99, even though it's not possible exactly. Some stuff you have to do first, but you could get 99 crafting in a day from 1 to 99 with the amount of experience, easy. If you just know a whole Saturday.
Yeah, 13 hours?
Yeah. Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Jagex noticed that they actually removed the sandstone thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of showed that they had these ideas where they didn't really know what the impacts were.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say here. They apologize for bringing this out as a poll before getting more feedback from it.
The reason why they like implement these types of things, they did it with like giant seaweed and stuff, where it counts as like more seaweed.
Yep.
It's because they don't like the idea of the best way to get experience for crafting is by buying stuff.
Yeah.
And what do they call it? They call it Shopscape. And so they wanted to kind of remove that.
Which I think is fair.
Yeah, so I can totally agree that like Shopscape is a little silly, but that's kind of how Iron Man should be. Not like Shopscape, but like we have sat down as a community and found the most obscure but best methods for all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that you have to buy from these shops. It sucks, but if you want to be as efficient as possible, you're going to do it this way.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can go shear sheep, spin wool, kill Zara, spin flax. I don't know. You can do whatever. But like, if you're going to be efficient and really like sink your teeth into like the game mode, that's just part of it.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So they will be looking at other methods in terms of, some sort of like sandstorm ability to like fill your buckets faster. They're going to look at like quests, like locking it behind maybe quests and magic levels. They want to see like, well, how the resources will be utilized, like all this stuff. How is it fairly balanced? How does it mess with play styles? All this stuff. And yeah, they kind of just admitted that they just threw in an update without knowing.
Yeah, I guess they kind of dropped the gun on that, but they realized that, took a step back, removed it completely, even though it passed. And
yeah, the scary thing is that look at like it passed by an overwhelming like 85 or 83.5% of the people were in favor, and I wonder how many of those were not Iron Men.
Oh, tons.
And how many of those, like out of all those people, who knew what the impact was going to be?
And I'd say not many people, right? Jagex didn't even realize the impact, so if they didn't, most people aren't going to either.
Yeah, and
it's that one person who's crunching the numbers.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, though, is that you can't blame people for not being informed, because like the average person, the average like RuneScaper that does vote, just jumps on, reads over the questions. Sometimes they don't know, and they just like whatever's passing the most, they'll just kind of like pile on, which is hide poll results mean, but that's really true. I've probably done it subconsciously where I sit there and I read a question. I'm like, I don't want to sit down and figure out what this will change. It's already at 90%. So it's probably some good reason why we need it. I can't think of any bad. I'll just vote yes.
Yep.
That's kind of my hide poll results. It should really be up to Jagex to put in appropriate questions.
Yeah, they should spend more time. Where's your QA department, right?
That, and like, they really should. I know they've been doing this way more than they have in the past, but they need to consult with people that like have gone through they have to find the right people that have like gone through what they want to change and ask their honest opinions about it. Because if you ask someone like Autumn Elegy, who like he's this guy who's known for making YouTube videos and he's super efficient.
He's since quit though, I believe, but yeah.
He quit, but like he was going for 200 mil rune crafting and he stopped because so many people are going for it.
Yeah.
Air quotes. He said he got 200 mil mining and he quit because every time someone gets 200 mil mining, it devalues his mining. Like you don't want to talk to those people. Because they want something that no one else has.
Yeah, yeah.
They want to walk around with like an 8-foot dong, a third leg that like leaves a ditch behind them where they walk, and that's how the wilderness was created. Like,
Legends told.
Yeah, you can find those like honest people that like, yeah, I did this method and it was awful, and I actually quit for a little bit because of it. And I understand, I like you changing this would kind of like devalue this for me, but it's something that does need to be changed. Like, you have to find the right people by asking, and like not big individuals, but a lot of individuals within a community, and figuring out where they're coming from before you ask these questions. Because like you can't just like, yeah, like we do so much as a community to like inform Jagex.
Yeah,
like we kind of go above, and well, not we, but there are some people,
the community as a whole,
a whole though, but like.
So there's like a handful of people who are actually doing most of the work, but we're all in this together.
Yeah, it's not like John is the one who's like doing all the work, but like, yeah, just we're going to group everyone up. We do a lot of the work for Jagex when it comes to like actual updates, which is intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if they want to propose new ideas, which kind of seems like out of nowhere, they should really like look into it first before throwing it out there for the masses.
It
just
makes
like,
it easier. You kind of remove or you add in the step or remove. I don't know.
Yeah, it's more work for them, but it adds for a better game. Because if this was implemented, oh man, I would want to see like the general crafting rates for Iron Man. Like there were a lot of people that were like, hey, imagine being that guy that banked all the sandstone for 99 crafting in preparation.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, we didn't do it. And now they're mad. They're like, I have like 40k sandstone sitting in my bank now.
Bitch. Yeah.
Yeah. All the runes, everything. That being said, this is kind of what they added alongside all that stuff. Firstly, but they'd like to lay out new goals for what we wish to address with the future polling questions. And regarding sand gathering, increase the amount of sands or buckets of sand able to be obtained, which can scale based on effort. At the highest levels of effort, we will attempt to have this method be better than charter ship hopping. Say that 5 times fast. I couldn't even say it once slowly. Provide a method more rewarding than filling buckets. And with the above, in turn, require more focus and requirement overall. So, ideally, if they want something to be passed, it would be something that takes more effort, it's more engaging. Maybe, everything's more fun than world hopping.
Yeah. Getting hit with that fucking timer.
Yeah, if you're willing to like put in the effort, it would be a little bit faster than charter ship. Like charter ship should be an alternative method. I totally don't think it should be a main method.
Yeah.
I guess if like for the new people, for crafting, the main meta is to like in members, you go to these charter ships near like the fishing trawler thing. I forget what port is called right now.
There's a bunch of them. There's Port Sarum, Catherby has them.
Yeah. And you buy like the ash and the buckets and all this, and you use those and you put them in the furnace. You make molten glass. You get your glass blowing pipe. You make whatever. Typically, what's air orbs, so you can charge them at the obelisk.
Yeah. In
the wilderness, the air obelisk, and then you have to go and world hop and do all this crap to buy battle staves. And then you put them all together. You get a lot of crafting experience. You elk the staves. You get a lot of money. If you're like a high end, like I was talking to like a very high level Iron Man that hangs at our CC and asking him about it. And when you get 99 crafting and you do this method, you typically end up with like more money than you actually need for the account.
Oh, cool.
But there are, you get a lot of magic experience. You get like a lot of little things done at once. It's very boring and it's kind of annoying, but like at the end of the day, like you do get a lot of things done that you need to get done.
Yeah, you kind of rip the Band-Aid off, I guess.
You get a lot of birds stoned at once for all you trailer park boys. So, with these points in mind, we have the following design, which we hope ticks off all the boxes above whilst providing a desirable experience for those who wish to do it. To the west of the quarry, a new NPC Drew will be added alongside their grinding machine. Players hand Drew noted buckets that he will hold for safekeeping, and players may then mine the nearby sandstone, deposit it into the grinding machine, unnoted. Depositing the sandstone will add charges to the machine based on the size. As of right now, 8 charges for 10 kilograms, 4 for 5, 2 for 2, 1 for 1. At any point, players may talk to Drew and gain a noted bucket of sand at the cost of 1 sandstone charge and 1 empty bucket and 50 GP. So, overall, we hope this new design is more in line with our original intentions. So at 65 mining, a casual player should be gaining about 30% more sand overall per hour than the Yanil sand pits, which is, I forget what the numbers are right now. I'm trying to remember how much per hour. But at 99 mining, a casual player will be gaining a little under double the amount of sand than what's currently available through the Yanil sand pits. Through tick manipulation, a player at 65 will receive similar rates to the casual players at 99, and through tick manipulation methods at 99 mining, methods will be receiving competitive rates a little higher than charter ship hopping. So that gives you an idea.
It seems fair to me.
So we're no Iron Men, but I'm assuming the fastest methods right now to get your buckets of sand is the charter ship hop, and if you're more casual, you do the Anil sand pits with in a PvP world teleporting to Camelot. So yeah, though they're just basing the numbers off of mining and all that stuff, and they work directly with some high level members of the community to, make sure it's okay, and they, fill them in with the gaps of knowledge that they have as Jagex. Yeah, they have feedback. They're be gathering feedback and all that.
So it's just good they're trying to find alternative methods, and they realize there was a mistake in the first method proposed.
The one thing I do find interesting is that it will be slower for a casual player to get their sandstone, but you get mining experience.
Yeah, that's true.
That's like another factor, right? So now
mining sucks to train overall, so any little bit you can get, why not?
Yeah. Now when you're crafting, you would get mining, crafting, money, and magic experience. It's adding like a whole nother aspect to it. Well, you're also working for like possibly your first glory, possibly, fury and your torture, and your Zenite jewelry.
Zenite, yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I wonder how much experience overall you would get if you were to get 99, like if you're doing like glass blowing and all, like doing like, all those things at once, but whatever the amount of sandstone that you actually need, if you started at 65 and casually mined, how much mining experience would you end up with?
Good question. Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't looked at the numbers, and there's no way in hell I'm going to be able to do the math. But yeah, so pretty interesting. Hopefully that sets a precedent, future quality of life and updates, and like who they consult.
Yeah, maybe we'll see with all those PvP or non-PvP quality of life polls we just saw, but
yeah, who knows. And then, okay, now let's get to the actual updates, which
doesn't seem like a whole lot happened.
No, this will be a lot quicker. Don't worry, guys. Boss Heads, Boss Baby, best movie. As the stacks of boss heads have been building in players' banks, we've received more and more requests to add ways to make them more useful. They had recolors, they have mounting, and yeah, they have made some changes. So the Dark Altar, which you use for the ensouled heads, you can now sacrifice your excess trophy head drops on Dark Altar to gain prayer experience. This will give a flat rate of 2.5k experience per head, except for Vorkath, which is 1k, as it's the most common. Using the Dark Altar in this way does not require any Arceus or other favor and can be done in bulk, hence reduce experience when using Vorkath's head as an Ensouled Dragon's head sacrifice, which remains an option.
I'm still going to keep my Vorkath's head for extra assemblers, but
yeah, they could do some cooler things. So I was talking to someone in the CC, and they mentioned how they got an Unsired, and they got like from Abyssal Sire.
Yeah.
And then they got an Abyssal Sire, like the head.
Yeah, the worst thing you can get.
Or maybe the best, depending on who you are. If you like cosmetics. Because it is a really cool thing.
Yeah, I guess, okay, well, once you get it the first, yeah.
If you have a second one, then obviously it sucks. But if you want the recolor, definitely not ideal, but whatever. I was thinking, like, well, what if you could, like, use it, like, say for that one specifically, you could just exchange it for another Unsired.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can get abyssal heads from just normal demons, right?
Yeah.
So
the only thing but it's super rare.
Yeah.
That one's just a specific example. What if you could just use the heads to just get another roll of the drop table?
Yeah.
Like, even, like, Kurass, you could use it to, like, fight a superior Kurass.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Like, boom, bang, a little bit more work, Jagex, sorry. You have to figure out where you would use it. Maybe, like, have something to do with the Dark Altar where you could, like, infuse it and maybe just fight it there. Or if it's a boss, you
gives
just go
it an
to,
extra
like,
use at least.
Go to Torfin at Vorkath, and he's like, wow, you have his head. Here's some stuff you left behind.
Yeah.
Like, give you some loot. I don't know. They could just do something like that. I don't know. Because I don't need prayer experience. So I'm gonna say Jagex, give us some more options.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, anyways, assembler effect for the ranging cape. So, those of you who have slain Vorkath enough times to get a Vorkath head can now use it on a ranging cape to give it the same ammo collection rate as the Ava's assembler. Until now, the ranging cape had the ammo saving effects as the accumulator, and bear in mind that you'll need to use the head directly onto the cape. Using a pre-made assembler will not work.
Alright.
Yep. I remember this being controversial, the thing with the assembler.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, now the Ranger Cape should get a buff too. And they're like, no, we'll just keep the Ranger Cape the same. Don't worry. This is why you want to use the backpack. And then now it's like, why do I ever want to use the cape when the backpack's better in every way? And they're like, okay, so you guys were actually kind of dumb. And we're going to fix that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, like, expectation.
Things shift once people
reality versus, like, you know, expectation. Yep, so some Chamber of Xeric quality of life. The Great Olm's Fire may now be doused with various vessels of water.
Cool.
And the Humidify spell. Clue scrolls received in Xeric now count as an additional loot item. Monster Examine can now be cast on monsters within Chambers of Xeric. Decent.
Right on.
World rotations.
Yeah, same old.
Cool stuff. Fun fact, the Regen Bracelet effect used to work in free-to-play. Not anymore, though.
Oh, so like the members item would still work?
Yeah, you get the health regen buffs from it.
Oh.
Not anymore, though. And that's it for the news.
Moving on to community news, community chatter. Deagin, you made this little note here about post 99 main EHP changes. And it states here, after a long discussion with many players involved, we have decided to make the following changes to post 99 main EHP rates. From what I understand, there's a website, Crystal Math Labs, that tracks your EHP. They're the ones who are dictating the changes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, RuneScape doesn't care about how efficient players are, but EHP stands for efficient hours played. If you are very into leveling as fast as you can and you like want to like track and show off, they use like a number called EHP.
Yep.
And it's just to be like, I have 99 fire making and Dilz is 99 fire making. Who's better at fire making? Then like, hey, you should be able to obtain fire making in 3 hours. So I'm throwing random ass numbers. And I did it in like 2.5 and you did it in like, and so it's like, well, you're better at fire making than me. That's pretty much EHP in a nutshell. Random numbers though.
But there seems to be a shift in that meta.
Yeah. So pretty much all of them across the board got buffed. And like, I know no one cares about it, but I just want to like mention how like this community, it's weird what's happening to the community. So the main things I'll mention is that runecrafting, the efficient hours played, the EHP, to get like one efficient hour played would be to get 75,000 runecrafting experience an hour.
Okay, so that's on the higher end through lavas.
Yeah, that's like typically like, you can get more than that, but like obviously it's not like tick perfect. You're gonna get at best this. It's that if you're playing efficiently and you're like good at runecrafting, this is a number to look out for while you're doing it. For example, Slayer was at 85k an hour, so you could level the 99 Slayer faster than runecrafting. Funny enough,
through barraging, cannoning.
Yeah, crafting was 425,000. So like, this is
wow.
When we reference using your lamps on runecrafting and Dilz for agility for his own reasons. But the reason being is that runecrafting is, or should I say, was the slowest.
Mm-hmm.
Runecrafting went from 75k an hour to 145k an hour.
So that's a huge jump. And
Doubled.
I don't think there's been this new method that was just recently discovered, was there?
Just for reference, it's like it's faster than mining. So if you're obsessed with EHP, like you don't want to be dumping runecrafting or lamps into runecrafting anymore. I'm still going to do it because the reasoning behind this is that they have a new method for runecrafting, and the assumption is if you're runecrafting, you're having to pay 2 people or you have 2 other accounts running runes with you at ZMI.
Right. I have seen people, offering to pay you money to run them runes. Runescence.
And this has happened to a couple other things. So Slayer went from 85k to 90k. And this assumes that, someone's using special attack transfer. They have a second account giving them specials while they have a scythe doing Slayer.
It seems, I don't know. That just seems so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And the main reason why I bring that up is that, I guess, like, heads up, it's kind of expected, if you're, like, competitive skiller, I guess, we're now reaching into the fully formed Altscape meme, where Altscape is pretty real, but typically, like, if you're, like, a competitive or, like, a serious RuneScape player, there are people that have 2 accounts playing at once. They have one for money making, where you AFK Wyverns, Gargoyles, Rune Dragons, Bones to Peaches, like, all these random cannonballs, kind of, but it's not good.
Yeah.
But all these things that make you good money, they vary in levels of effort. Pretty much if a Venezuelan's using it to gold farm, someone's probably has an alt account that also does the same thing, just to make extra money on their main while they're doing other stuff.
Just to supplement it, right?
Free bonds, whatever. With, like, those methods I mentioned, minus, like, cannonballs, really. But, like, you can generate 2 bonds for 2 weeks and some profit. And that's kind of where, like, Altscape meme started. But now it's getting to the point now where, like, if you're a competitive skiller, like, it's implying that your character, to get competitive rates, you're, like...
It's like a family of characters, not just one, right?
Yeah, like, you're using multiple characters specifically to boost one person's, like, experience. Oh, by the way, if you need some easy money, do ZMI altar running. I think people pay like 4 mil an hour or something.
You can make 3 to 4 mil. I've heard. Now I've also heard though you get paid at the end of the hour, obviously.
But you just find some dude that's post 99 rune crafting,
or you'll find some guys that are like, "I'll trade you 50K per inventory." Yeah, fuck, hell yeah.
Do the math. Make sure they're not ripping you off. But it's boring as hell. But that's good ass money.
Yeah, it is. And you, like, not actually, but a level 3 could do it. You're going to get hit by the guys in there. But what I'm trying to say is a low level could do it, and you're making good money.
Yeah.
Like, close to the, Zulrah.
More than Zulrah.
Vorkath.
More than that.
Alchemical Hydra.
Because Zulrah and Vorkath, like, max rates is implying you're there for, like, hundreds of hours. And you hit every, you hit 5K kills. This is how much you averaged. So this is like you sit down for 1 hour, make 3 to 4 mil, walk out. Hey, sit down there for like 4 hours, boom, you can buy some nice PVM gear.
Yeah, and you're good to go.
For 10 hours, I got a tacit and some change, baby.
Yeah.
It's awful, but it's good money. I don't know, I thought it was worth bringing up. It's kind of weird that, like, it's getting to the point now where...
That's like the agreed upon method, right?
Yeah. And like,
they said they've talked to the community. This is what the general consensus is, which is, it is.
But it's weird, like, Slayer rune crafting, main thing. And, like, there are, like, little weird niche methods where you can get multiple things to boost, but, like, it's funny how, like, in a community, it's now meta to, like, have multiple accounts skilling for one account.
Yeah, it's weird.
Anything else for community stuff?
Well, we did get Runelite got a new plugin again, although I've heard OS Buddy already has this. You might have noticed it, but underneath your world map, you have a little icon that's for the wiki. You click it, and then you can click on one of your items, and it'll bring you straight to the wiki page on that, on the page of the item. It's pretty cool.
I still OSRS item. I'm not in the habit of clicking.
My problem is that you have to, like, optimize your Google searches, otherwise you're getting the old wiki still.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So pretty cool. And then last thing is, the next one is a Twitter, a tweet that you had pinned. Or, sorry, you posted.
Yeah, so without spoiling Settled's Ultimate Iron Man Swampletics series, I know this is, like, getting really meta. It's not like a YouTuber doing a YouTube video. Anyways,
normally don't like to do that, but I guess this is somewhat relevant.
And I had, like a couple people ask about it and say cue conspiracy music, but we figured it out, like, pretty early on, like, the day of. He... pretty much in that series mentions how he can't, like, okay, he wasn't able to get, like, a fishing net.
Yep.
Then he found an infinite spawning fishing net.
Yep.
And the community kept being like, Jagex slipped this in for him. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, because now with this, he's able to do other stuff in his account. Who cares? But the main thing is that there was a tweet from someone at the beginning of the year asking Mod Ash, because this guy has his own, just for fun, Mortania only account.
Yep.
He said, like, can we get, like, fishing nets
Yeah.
in Mauritania near like the fishing area. And I don't know, I forget what he said. It was pretty much like, I know we shouldn't do like these weird updates for one account, but there should be one there. No one fishes at Mauritania at the docks. And that's pretty much why it wasn't there.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a good reason for it to be there, so we'll put one there.
Yeah, here's a quick exchange from Dragula OSRS. He says, can you add a small fishing net to charters or some way to get them in Mauritania? He's saying this to Mod Ash. Mod Ash says, perhaps Berg de Rot could have one, even if no one there seems to fish much. And then Dragula says, a small or big fishing net would be great. And then Mod Ash says, you'll understand we don't do a lot of game changes just to cater to a region-locked account build. It'd be defeating the point if we did, though perhaps a net or two wouldn't be a problem. And then he says, I understand, small nets would purely be for swamp lizards. Seems a shame not to be able to do them, though that would be after lamping and toming all the way to 29 Hunter, but also not being able to do big net fishing in Berg de Rot is probably the bigger deal out of the two. And then Modash just understands.
Yeah. And then they just kind of put in without telling anyone, which isn't a big deal.
No.
But I just thought it was worth mentioning that, like, how often does this happen? There was also an incident where they removed a yew tree near the crafting guild.
Oh yeah? Well, why is that?
They just removed it without saying anything.
Huh. Yeah.
It was like no one ever used it really. It was like an unbotted tree. I don't know who would really use it, but like you'd only use it if you have the crafting cape.
Yeah.
Devalues my 99 crafting that I want to get. But like
future 99 crafting.
Yeah. There are a lot of these like little updates that just kind of happen that I was noticing. It's just not a big
fly
deal.
Under the radar.
It's not me like freaking out, make sure there's no conspiracy music, but I'm just like, everyone who's wondering what happened but also like, yeah, it's the thing.
Yeah.
They do these little changes without mentioning it because it's like...
Which I'm okay with if it fits the area. Whereas the way it's placed in Berg de Rot, it's like, what, right out of the dock by the water?
Well, the main thing is you have to sink lamping and towing for 6 months.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't want them to cater to just one... like I said, I don't even like them catering just to Iron Man. Just the same way I don't like them catering to PvEers over PvPers.
Yeah.
But if it fits the area, you know, like if there's a dock and you put a fishing net just lying there in the hut at the dock, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought I'd put that in there just for whatever.
Yeah, some interesting stuff there. Yeah, so that's about all the news that happened this week, which brings us to our next segment, where we will be teleporting back in time to February 13th and February 16th, 2001. So this is the segment that we go back and look at each week as the game first came out and discuss the updates that they had brought in. It's kind of fun to look back in time about some of the controversial moments going on back then because they existed, right?
Yep.
So
I use my PK only account at banks.
Yeah. February 13th, they have a small little post here. First, they say, first, I have fixed the error which enables you to make double doors vanish by lighting a fire next to them. So hopefully no more trapped people. Some people, I guess, get trapped inside.
Oh my god.
I've also modified the trading window so that you can point at an object someone is offering you to find out what the object's name and description is. Some new locations have been added to the map. There is a new shop in Al-Kharid where you can buy plate mail skirts. And the Champions Guild has been added southwest of Varrock. Only adventurers who have proven themselves worthy by gaining influence from quests are allowed in. So, nothing major, but...
You think that was equivalent to, like, Max Island?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And then the last post from February 16th says, Little imps have invaded RuneScape and have been stealing anything which isn't nailed down. It's mostly nothing important, but they have also stolen 4 magic beads from Wizard Mizmog, and he wants them back. Go and talk to him in the Wizard's Tower to get started on this quest. Imp Catcher came out.
Yeah.
And they also added the trading features have been improved even more. You can no longer accept an offer at the same time as the other player is changing it. This will hopefully stop the cheating and making trading with other players more safe. It just seems like Andrew Gower just behind there being like, why can't anyone just be on? Everyone's cheating. There's cheating going on everywhere. Anybody else says a few other minor fixes have been made. For instance, you can no longer walk through one of the walls in the ghost town. The ghost town in Mauritania?
No.
What the fuck's a ghost town?
30,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town. I don't know.
Weird. We're going to have to figure that one out. Maybe they're going to remove it at some point down here, being like, this ghost town is just full of cheaters.
Maybe it's like, hey, we put some people in it. Edgeville.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, maybe we're going to get something like that. Like, what? I wonder, because there's so many things that, like, you could attack people anywhere. And I really wanted to be like, I think you had to agree to a duel, because I played RuneScape Classic before. And then I'm like, no. You could attack anyone anywhere, and you can't bank ever anywhere.
Eventually, they brought up the dueling thing.
Yeah, you can get attacked by someone, and you can't move.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're because I know, like, at least for Classic or something, you had to do X amount of exchanges. You can't like hit someone once and run away.
Yeah.
Do you think they had the world PvP? Like, okay, do you think when they first designed like RuneScape, it was very much like? Because the way like the game was made was it's like they like the brothers like D&D and fantasy world building,
yeah, and you can see all the influences.
Do you think they made like PvP as like they thought everyone would be in the game role playing, and then there'd be a disagreement, and they're like, "Let's fight!" Yes, and they start fighting, and then like it's this epic moment.
Yeah.
When it turns into it, Wolf, who's got like 110 kills, is just this asshole sitting like in Faldor and like. You're dead.
Yeah.
And you're dead. And you're dead. Like, sitting there killing people and, like, looting all their stuff.
There's no bank to even do, you know what I mean? Like,
what am I going to hold all these rune or bronze plate bodies? I don't even know.
It's interesting to see the way the game develops. Yeah, not a whole lot of action happened this week, 18 years ago.
Wow. Aim Capture's kind of iconic.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think people complaining, being like, dude, I had to grind 9 magic.
And these fuckers kept killing me.
Yeah, I'm sitting here airstriking goblins, and I keep dying. Now people can what? Sneak away over to the wizard's tower, start a quest, find these imps everywhere, get beads, and now they have 9.
This devalues my level 10 magic.
Yeah, this is stupid. This is power creep in a nutshell.
EHP was like 6 experience.
Yeah. This game's going downhill, I'm telling you. Let's open up old school RuneScape.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. Anyways, let's jump to the lore now. During the God Wars, there was a dragonkin who had been experimenting on monsters in Mount Karulm. Similar to Zorgoth and how he had been experimenting and eventually created Vorkath, this unknown dragonkin had been doing the same. His first creation were the worms, a beast that almost went extinct during the God Wars because of their devastation. His next creation were monsters called drakes. Believing the drakes were a success, he brought his creation in front of a dragonkin named Karapak, but he rejected these monsters. He believed that they should only be experimenting on dragons, and that experimenting on any other monsters were a waste of time. Karapak was a very renowned dragonkin. Whatever he said was law, and his influence reached so far that no dragonkin ever disobeyed his orders. Eventually, this original unknown dragonkin, who had been doing these experiments on Karulm, began testing on lizards. He first created the Hydras, but those were just the base for his next project. Soon, he would be experimenting on them, creating a much larger and stronger version. And this is how the Alchemical Hydra was created. Although he found that this was his most successful creation yet, he was unable to recreate this project. Thus, the Alchemical Hydra sat in his facility for years while he tried and tried to recreate this monster. Throughout the God Wars, he had word that a general of Zamrox would be arriving onto the continent of Zaya. Where Zaya was once a barren landscape, he knew that others would cause a problem for him and his projects. When this general of Zamrock arrived on Zaya, he quickly went and sought refuge in the catacombs of Zaya. The unknown dragonkin knew this general had some sort of artifact that gave him power, a power that would be very useful with his experiments. But unfortunately for this dragonkin, he knew the power was too strong and he would not be able to take it away from the Zamrock general. He knew that if he wanted to remain safe and free to experiment, he would need to go into hiding, somewhere that he would not be found. So he moved south of Mount Karulm, where he began experimenting on other monsters. We do not know what his end result creation, but many believe that he fled to Mount Quitamortum, that the great Olm found in the chambers of Xeric was from from his doing. We don't know who this dragonkin was, and we do not know what happened to him. But we do know he feared this general of Zamorak, and this general was Skotizo. So, this dragonkin fled, never to be heard of again, and the Alchemical Hydra still remains in the original facility, waiting to be recreated again. The Hydra sits undisturbed, but at times becomes restless, and can create havoc within it. So, between the two who live around Mount Cruilm, the Tassikal and the Calith, they find adventurers and warriors who are willing to fight this creature to put him at ease, to calm down and prevent the Hydra from breaking out of the facility. Next week, we wrap up the bosses of Old School RuneScape. And now that we're back, we'll take a stroll over to the Grand Exchange. Got a little sound effect now.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nothing much, but it's something. Anyways,
doubling money, doubling money.
It's not as fun as that. It's just a little ding ding.
RSPGP07.com.
Yeah, imagine. Anyways, this is the part where we get to talk about some of the things that we're offering. I don't know if we're really offering it, actually. But anyways, if you like audiobooks, you might like Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/wild to get a free month and a free audiobook. A bunch of us in the CC have actually ordered the RuneScape books, and we've started reading them together with a little book club discussion going on Discord. So who knows, maybe you want to listen to it through Audible. I actually don't even know if they're available there, but I'm assuming high chance they could be.
They should be if they're not.
Yeah. But
you have to tweet Jeff Bozo, good old Jeff Bezos, and be like, dude,
just come on. Just give him a phone call or something.
Yeah, I'll call him.
Yeah, audibletrial.com/wild. But if you want to support the show directly, you can do that by going to patreon.com/thewildernesspodcast. And our supporter of the week is Mr. Meltin. So thank you very much for supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. Yeah, you're one swell fella. And thank you to all of our supporters out there. And also, as usual, thank you to everyone who is listening. But now we're going to direct it to what we got going on in the show. As I've been mentioning for the past couple episodes now, that we are doing a hide and seek little event coming up in the future. Don't have an exact date because I've been kind of busy. Me and Magpie are trying to organize it. But if you want to figure out when we're going to be doing that, definitely keep an eye on Discord and Twitter. It's kind of hard to actually plan right now because I get work dropped on me. I usually don't find out until Thursday if I'm working Saturday or not, so it's kind of a pain in the ass. But anyways, just things like that make it hard to actually plan one so far ahead. But yeah, there will be tons of money being given away. You got to find Magpie. We'll have some hints. And yeah, so yeah, definitely keep your eye out if you're interested. And as I just mentioned, we got a little book club going on. We are reading the trilogy, the RuneScape novels, written by T.S. Church. We just did our first week where reading the first 3 chapters, and I'm really enjoying them so far. There's a lot of course, there's a bunch of RuneScape references, right? There's tons of them, but
I would assume the whole thing is a RuneScape reference.
Yes, exactly. But I could definitely see, like, so far, I don't feel like you would need to play the game to totally understand what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
You could be someone who has never played RuneScape, and it's just another fantasy novel.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts off really well done. I love the way he paints the world. Like the whole perspective of the world changes. Like it's how large it is, how long it takes to travel to certain cities. So it's very cool. Definitely recommend reading them. But yeah, if you want to discuss those, definitely come into Discord.
As he attempts to put on the goblin's armor, it doesn't fit. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool. A little fun note too, the author T.S. Church saw a tweet of me talking about this book club where he retweeted as well. Thought it was a cool idea. I thought it was awesome to see that, but yeah, little fun note there. Yeah, we got another email this week, which kind of perfectly wraps into the email that we talked about briefly last week, which was money-making methods for beginners. So we can probably combine all these together here because, yeah, Nick wrote in and he says, "Hey guys, I'm writing in to ask if there's any resources for beginners. I haven't played Old School RuneScape since I was young, and back then I just spammed woodcutting and cooking for about a month until I quit. Now that I've returned, it feels brand new again and I'm feeling a little lost. I did all the free-to-play quests and then got a membership and now I am overwhelmed. What goals should a beginner set? What items should I seek out and what quests should I prioritize? Even though most of your content goes over my head, I thoroughly enjoy your podcast. You seem genuine and knowledgeable. Keep up the great work." Oh, thanks for the kind words and thanks for the email. So I guess the first question is what resources are there for beginners? Which for that, I would, I guess, just like there's tons of YouTube videos, but not many beginner guides.
There's probably some good beginner guides, I would assume. The wiki is really helpful.
The wiki, if you know what you actually want to search, it's super helpful. And then I would also say, like, the subreddit, reddit.com/r/2007scape, it's very memey on the front page, but if you ask a question, you usually get some good answers.
Yep.
And so that's also a good resource. But as for what goals should a beginner set, like, normally what I tell someone, if they don't know what they want to do and they've just started playing the game, I always say focus on Recipe for Disaster. Because you can, the reason I say that is because you can start it at level 3, and there's so many sub quests to it. There's like, I don't know how many, but there's like 7 or something. Eventually, you'll get to one that you can't complete. You'll have to go bang out some skills. You'll have to go do some other quests to be able to do it. But as you continue to do that and you finish the whole quest, your accounts can be pretty well-rounded. Like, let's say mid-level, would you say?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have Desert Treasure done, which is a pretty hard quest to do. You'll have a shit ton of other quests done because you require like 175 quest points to finish it. A bunch of not high-level skills, but your skills will be like well-rounded, right? All different skills will be leveled up, and you now have access to the, I would say, best gloves in the game. But there's like now with the new gloves that came out, the
Ferocious.
Yeah, Ferocious gloves, which are now better offensively, and then with the
for melee only though, but yeah.
Yeah. And then you got the
Tormented
Bracelet, which is better for magic. But Barrow gloves work for ranged magic and melee, and they're still pretty good. They're top tier.
Yeah, one of the most important items on like for an account to have.
Mm-hmm. You have any ideas of what you would say to someone who's looking for goals to set if they're lost and overwhelmed, which is super easy, right? If you're getting into membership, getting into RuneScape itself is overwhelming as a free-to-play player, but membership's a whole nother beast, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that, like, all the free-to-play quests are done.
Yeah.
Because that does give you, like, some nice, like, little basis, and you get to familiarize yourself with a lot of things. But the main thing is, like, what you enjoyed the most during free-to-play. Because, like, there's a lot of things people enjoy differently. Like, they enjoy over other things.
And which is why we have the community is like kind of fragmented. People love to just skill. Some people love to make money. Some people love to kill monsters. Some people love to kill other people. Right?
Yeah, and like questing and all that. Like, yeah, like if you really enjoy the aspect of like questing, then yeah, what Dilz said, working on like Recipe for Disaster and like banging out a bunch of quests, like one that sound kind of cool because you have to do extra quests for the quest points.
Yeah.
And like it's quite a journey to like actually get there, and
it takes a while. It's a long goal, especially if you're a lower level.
Mm-hmm. But it does get you active doing other quests, other skills.
Ideally,
leveling up.
If you don't really like questing, as you're going through Recipe for Disaster or whatever, you'll find something else you want to do.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. Like if you enjoy like making money, then you could, I don't know, seek out ways to make money, I guess. You can like, if you want to like kill monsters, like level up your stats, like you can go, like Slayer's a good place. And a lot of things is like, you'll always have a question to like an answer in RuneScape forever.
Yeah.
So the wiki is really nice for that. Like you could literally go like OSRS wiki Slayer, and it gives you a good breakdown of everything, where to go to start it, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like, if you're, like, just super efficient and stuff, I always say good goals to set in the beginning, or, like, the untradeable stuff. So, like, quests.
Yeah.
Get a fighter torso through Barbarian Assault.
Yeah, that's a good one. Barbarian Assault, Fire Torso is a good one. Or
get Underground Pass done quickly, just for the climbing boots, which are pretty helpful.
Yeah. At some point, you're going to want to go to Pest Control to get your Void. I wouldn't say do that at a low level, because it's going to take you a lot longer, but it's good to kind of have that in the back of your head that at some point you'll be there. Fire Cape, right? That's a huge goal. That's like one of the first major milestones for any player.
Yeah.
It's that Fire Cape. Now, obviously, I'm not saying, okay, I'm like level 40, I'm going to start working towards that Fire Cape, but it's good to have that on a little list that maybe one day you're like, I'm getting around that point, maybe I'll start trying to get it.
Like, it's kind of hard. Like, I can't really think of anything really good to say, because, like, I know I really enjoy, like, I don't know, like the milestone aspect of it, where, like I just did random stuff. Like, when I first started playing this game, I just did random skills because I just liked chilling and skilling when I did other stuff and all that. but it is really boring. And Slayer at the time was like not appealing at all for me. So I just started to like quest, and then I was like, you know what? I want to get a fire cape and barrel gloves before like level 90. That was my goal.
Yeah.
So then I went and did like a big grind for the barrel gloves, and then I went and did a big grind for the fire cape. That felt really good, but like it was like a personal just goal. I said, like, if there's like figure out what you enjoy, not just like RuneScape, but like other games too.
Yeah.
What kind of things you do like, and like honestly, you could just be like, I hate questing. I don't really care too much for making money. I don't like skilling, and then you're like, PvP might be fun.
Yeah.
You know, like there's like a lot of different things that you could do. You just have to figure out what you like, and then, you know, kind of like look around, figure out methods. Like you can look up like experience rates and everything on the wiki. You can even just like ask random players. Like it's kind of like, I don't really have a good answer. So it's kind of hard to do without saying like, here's what I would do, because I have specific mindset, I guess, when it comes to this game.
And everyone has their own little goals that they're going to set.
But I guess in general, I would say do some quests that you think are cool. When in doubt, just Slayer.
Slayer's always, was one of my first goals, is get your Slayer there, because you'll be making a ton of money at some point. That's like a very, really good money maker. So you're going to want to level Slayer regardless.
Yeah.
And I find it fun.
Yeah, if you're like, well, none of this helped, then like, just do some Slayer, do some random quests,
and eventually you'll
RFD.
Yeah, you'll stumble across something you want. Another goal I would set, like if you're a masochist, you're gonna want to do this anyways too. Getting your full graceful, it is a bit of a grind. It's not very fun, but the graceful set is very useful.
I mean, I don't mind agility. You get your graceful by doing like the agility rooftop courses, and you can start at Draenor Village at level 1. But if you look at the agility guide, it will show you like a weird yellow circle, the red dude, rooftop agility, and you'll find those items, those like marks of grace, and then from there you can exchange it for your pieces. You need like 250 or something.
You need quite a bit. Most people get them between like, what is it, 56 to 70? Big gap, because there's some rooftops that will give you more tokens than other ones, but at the same time at a less experience rate. So you take the experience hit. I think it's Canifis is the one that people go to for the most tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of did whatever.
Yeah, I always did what I could the most, and I got mine around level 65. Yeah, it's out there, and yeah. So then, leading in from our email from last week about money makers for beginners and stuff like that, like I've been thinking about this week, and I was trying to think about what did I do for money makers, because there's a ton out there. There's a bunch of different ones we mentioned earlier. ZMI Runecraft running, great money there. You just gotta find the person. And I've only seen people being like 50k per inventory, and it's not even that common that I would see them, but every now and then I would bump into them. It's kind of hard because focusing on just money making at a low level, it'll help at first, but then you're always gonna want money.
You don't want to be a level 80 killing cows for cowhide.
Yeah. And like there's a bunch of different tricks you can do, which are great to do. Let's say you want to get like a full rune set or something. It's like, it doesn't take too long to get, but you don't want to save up like 10 mil doing these things, because as you get, it's like exponential. So as you get a higher level, the money becomes easier to get, but you also need more of that money. So it's always good to keep that in the back of your head. But so last week I mentioned some of the Varrock diaries and like herb running, your farm runs. Those are all just easy money makers that, I mean, I still do them because it's just free cash. Yeah, I know when I was like leveling up, what I did a lot was I was killing Chaos Druids. Now, I'm not saying this is great money at all, but this is just what I did when I was lower level, because you go into Edgeville Wilderness in the dungeon, you kill them, and you can get like Ranar weeds and other ones that are worth a couple K each, and it can all add up. It's just, it's great for short term, I guess. It's good if you need that money, but if you're wanting to save up for like, I don't know, something big, you're better off just kind of whatever you would normally, like whatever your goals are, pick the route that's going to give you some money, because then it all adds in together. And that's what I do right now. Whereas when Deagin, you're doing Blast Furnace, you're doing gold ores, right?
Yep.
And you're going to lose money, but fast experience. Whereas when I'm doing Blast Furnace, I'm doing Adamant because I can make some money at the end of it, but I lose experience. But I like whatever I'm doing, I like it to be giving me money somehow, even though it's usually more efficient to level up take the gold hit and get the experience rates higher, and then just go to Vorkath or Zulrah when you're a higher level and make that money there, or raiding and stuff, because that's where all the money is.
Mm-hmm.
But it just depends on how you feel. Like, for me, it's more satisfying to get it as I go. Yeah, and it all depends what level you are. Green dragons in the wilderness, it's risky because you're kind of venturing out there, but
and if you know Spanish, it can be kind of fun.
Yeah, that's where the Venezuelan gold farmers go. I shouldn't just say Venezuelan. It's where all the gold farmers go, though.
We don't condone harassment of Venezuelans, but it's fun to watch them get upset and say stuff in Spanish as they run away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's like other things I don't know if I mentioned last week, like hill giants, but the fact that you can get that key, which you can go kill Obor, which is nice. Like, it's really hard to give like money making methods because it all depends on what relevant level you are, what items you're saving up for. Because if you're like, well, I want to get 10 milks, I want to be able to buy bandos. Was it chest play? That's probably a 20 mil now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So anyways, whatever piece it is, if it's like 20 or 30 mil and you're like, well, maybe don't save up for it right now. Just go do your normal grind and eventually you'll get there. Like if you're doing Slayer, eventually you'll be just every task you're making like a mil or so. So that's it's always good to know. But yeah, I don't know. I would say like if you want to train certain skills, you could always choose the route that's going to yield you some money. So at least you're making some profit instead of losing. You know, like fletching, you can just I think it's stringing the bows together will give you a little bit of money at the end. It's not much at all. Or even like when I was like, I'm going to train cooking, and I was like, oh, if I cook these, I'll make like a couple GP per thing I cook, which isn't much, but I walk away with like an extra 2 mil when I got 99. It's not much at all, but you know, I always like to see the profit that I was able to pull out of it.
Yeah, I don't know, like for me, when I was like a lower level trying to make money, I wasn't super like efficient. Like I wasn't like, I'm gonna go NMZ to max stats and then, you know, put 20 hours making money and then using that money to just, you know, power my account through, which people do that. But it's not fun. Like it's like like you could like, if you're like, what's the best way to make money? Then like it's like, all right, go get your void or whatever. Go get your best in slot strength gear and your range. Go do sand crabs and sit there for 3-4 months. Get these stats and then go grind these bosses.
Yeah, like if the question was, what's the quickest way to 100 mil? Like legitimately, we're not going to talk about buying bonds or staking.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would say, NMZ your account to a high level and then go spam
X-Boss.
Vorkath, Zulrah, Alchemical Hydra, raiding.
Well, Hydra need to Slayer, but
okay. But yeah.
But like really, like the game's supposed to be fun, so you have to find kind of like what Dilz was saying, how to make money while you're having fun.
Yeah.
Because like more important than like how much money you're making is how much time you're spending on the game. And that's why people like buy bonds and stuff, because they hate that aspect of like, oh, I gotta make money. But
some people enjoy it.
But if you look at it like that, then the game really stops becoming fun. Like when I was grinding for like my full ancestral and stuff, like when I was like spending like months just doing raids nonstop, flipping nonstop, and like the game, like it wasn't RuneScape, it was like econ management type thing, where like how to make money. I never had any money sitting in my bank, so I was always flipping. I was like looking into the blog posts and like going through Q&As and like, okay, predicting what's going to drop, what's going to go up, and trying to make my money. Make money for me. I was doing my daily like stabs and herb runs and stuff. Like I was doing everything I could to try and accumulate money. And it was so boring. Like it was fun, but like I wasn't playing RuneScape. I was just trying to make money. And at the end of the day, you know, my buddy staked like in a week and got 2 T-bows. Yeah. And then that actually made me quit for like a month or two. Cause I'm like, I spent 6 months. This guy just tripled my bank pretty much at the time in a week, which don't go staking because you're going to lose money.
Yeah. It's staking.
It's not 50-50 to be rich. It's like to walk in with like 20 mil and walk out with like 100 mil. It's not 50-50. It feels 50-50, but it's not. Like you
can justify it in your head how it's 50-50, but everyone I know that goes to the dueling arena, more often than not, they end up losing everything and they quit.
Yeah.
They end up doing a rebuild.
Yeah. So, like, I know, like, I did the same thing as Dilz when I first started. I would pick skills that, like, I wanted to AFK, so I did cooking, and I went and I looked into that skill, and I'm like, oh, cooking gauntlets reduce my burn rate, so I could cook these fish at a 0% burn rate at these levels until, you know what I mean, until this level, and I would go and do that and then make a little bit of money. And like fletching into longbows, but I wanted those 99s just because I wanted to accumulate some 99s before I started doing other things in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I would do is if I want to like tackle an aspect of the game, I would look at like how I could squeeze as much money out of it. With like fletching, when I did my 99 fletching grind, I made longbows starting from like whatever maple longbow level is.
Yep.
And then every time I went from like a maple longbow, now I could make like a yew longbow. I would swap over and I'd only make longbows because that you could make the most money from that. And then I went and like looked into and I did the math. And at the time I was able to make even more money if I high elked them.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and was like, okay, now I can high elk them. But sitting there and high elking at the bank with the GE is awful. And then it's also really boring. But that led into like, well, I want to get my agility up for full graceful. So I would elk while I did agility and then also while I did questing and I was getting my RFD, my recipe for disaster barrel gloves. And I would like, this questing sucks, but I'm making money while I'm leveling up my magic and while I'm going for 99 fletching.
Yeah.
And I would do like all these like little things at once and just find ways to make money. And if I got bored of it, I would just take a break. All that stuff. There's like a lot of little things you can apply to what your current goals are. Like if you just want to be able to equip Rune and like you're a free-to-play player, you could find monsters that make you good money in free-to-play.
Hill Giants or the Ogre Shamans, I think they're called.
Yeah. Like I remember at the time when I was a kid, I did like cowhides until like I like had full myth, and then like it was super inefficient. But then I killed hill giants like one per inventory of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just little kid inefficiency stuff. But you can find like little ways to like achieve your goals and then make money instead of just focusing on just the money making aspect. And
yeah.
The most important thing is, if you like, it's kind of hard to say this because it takes like a lot of like game knowledge, but there are a lot of really weird ways you can save money. And people like argue to me about this in the past, and I'm like, I don't really care, but I think that like one of the best ways you can make money, I guess, is to like save money. It sounds weird, but like, let's say you want to like buy a dragon chain body.
Yep.
I would say I have a better solution. Don't buy a dragon chain body. Go get your fighter torso.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have the defensive stats, and it's not a dragon chain body, but you get strength bonus, which makes you hit harder, which means you're killing monsters faster, you're gaining experience faster, you can train your slayer faster. It's just an overall better item, in my opinion, because you're saving so much time just playing the game, and it's an untradeable that you'll need at some point.
Yeah.
And it's Barbarian Assault isn't bad. It's actually a pretty fun little mini game. I like doing it. I'm trying to collect all the pieces right now, and soon I'll have to get level 5 on all the rolls. But
yeah, so you get that, and really, you don't ever really need to replace it. You could replace it with the bandos, where it is better, but offensively, they're tied. They're the same. So even then, you could be like, this thing, you know, you could make the argument it's worth like 10 mil in value, right?
Yeah, and like the DPS value.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, hey, Rune, I want to get a Rune plate body. It's the same thing because you need like 42 or 45 defense? I should know this, but my brain's flushed right now. No, for fighter torso.
Oh, yeah, 42. Or
45. Matt,
45.
Who cares?
Oh, fuck, now I'm losing it.
My brain.
Void's 42.
Yeah, my brain's absolute mush, but
same.
Let's just say 45 because it's a nice clean number.
Okay.
But instead of getting like a Rune plate body, you could just do fire torso, which is much better than a Rune plate body. but you can use that to replace a Torag plate body, or even like I used my fighter torso from like level 70 like something all the way up to like level 120 something.
Yeah.
Like, it carried me for like 90% of my gameplay until I had like so many like I had like my Bandos Tacits, I had like some pretty decent range gear. Like, I bought my chest plate as one of my last melee pieces because I looked at it as like for melee specifically, like there's like a meta, like the way people typically play the game is to squeeze as much damage out as possible. Because if you kill a guy faster, you're going to level faster. You can level your defense faster, which is a factor in taking damage. So if I can get 8 levels of defense on you in the same amount of time, is that worth it more than a Torag's plate body, the cost of it?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like how you want to like look at the game. Some people prefer like a Torag's plate body because it's defensive and it's less food, but there's drawbacks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can apply that to like a lot of little things with like, yeah, if you look at like what will benefit your account the most, you can find things that like don't cost that much and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
If you you should kind of spend some time looking into it.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and the thing is, 9 times out of 10, PVM is where you make the most money.
Yeah.
You got skills like rune crafting, you'll make some money. Thieving, you'll make some money.
I did a lot of rune. So actually, at one point in the podcast, I was very against doing Zulrah because I honestly still don't like doing Zulrah, but I'll do it just because like I got like max gear for it. I have like it's such fast, easy money, and I know the rotations now. But at one point, I was so bad at Zulrah that it was faster for me to do rune crafting nature runes, than to actually kill Zulrah for an hour. Because I just had like a bad mindset, and I enjoy rune crafting more than Zulrah. On average, like I don't mind doing lava runes. My hands hate me after like 2-3 hours of doing lava runes. But same thing with Zulrah. Doing 8-way switches like breaks my wrists and stuff. It's like if you can find what you enjoy and find ways to make money, then just
There's ways you can make little bits of money, like if you don't feel like playing, it's like, okay, well, go woodcut, go mine, go fish, but figure out what thing is going to give you the money at your level.
Yeah.
It might just be lobsters, which is like not much profit at all, but it all adds up.
Yeah, and like there are like, if you have a kid and you can only pay attention for like, give your game like, 30 seconds of love every like couple minutes, right?
Yeah.
You can find AFK methods of making money, which aren't the best, but like, hey, you gotta watch a movie with like your family or something and just pull out your phone and like, hey, I'm gonna go do dwarf cannon so I can make some cannonballs. Not the best money, but it's pretty AFK. Get the smithing, takes like 0 effort, no focus. You could actually set like your phone on vibrate for like every minute and a half or whatever to just like, and then you like look at it like, okay, click, 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 and we're back at it, and I'm gonna go continue doing what I'm doing.
Maybe you're on break at work, you have 15 minutes every day.
Yeah.
After, you're not gonna make much money at all, but after the week, you got like what, 200K or something? It's something. And so like, I'm like not saying, oh, you want to make money, go fish lobsters. But yeah, as you said, you got to watch a movie, or maybe you're sitting with your child and you're watching Peppa Pig or something. And you can like pull out your phone and click lobsters and put it back in your pocket. Things
Actually,
like that.
The best way to make money is to get your like significant other or your kid and be like, check out this game called RuneScape. Here you can fish. That's it. Or, you know what I mean? Like, just, here, play it. Isn't that fun? Wow, that's really cool. You're having so much fun.
You're having so much fun. I'm going to do you a solid and put that on your chore list.
Yeah.
If you want an allowance, I want to see 15 minutes of fishing every day.
I want 3 inventories. Let's go. I need some monkfish. Let's go.
And then your wife's sitting over there being like, why are you putting things on a chore list? And you're the one who just dicks around playing video games all day. You don't even... I'm the one who makes the money. I give you an allowance.
Nature's builds character.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Hey, I'm revered in my work for being given a task and being able to do it faster than ever. I'm like actually being serious. People will give me a task on my job and I'll get it done faster than everyone. Unless it's something I have no idea what I'm doing.
You just
like,
randomly start bragging about your work ethic?
Oh, dude, I shred. But, like, it's not hard work. It's, like, turn off your brain and move shit around, right? Like,
okay.
Do this for an hour, and it's very grindy, and it's just, like, RuneScape mentality. It's just like, okay, I'll sit down and grind it out. And, like, I've had my boss be like, I don't like making you do this thing 3 shifts in a row. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting paid to, like...
What's the expected EHP you're thinking of? 3 coats hung up an hour. Done.
You're joking, but I've literally asked... If I have to do stock, how much should I be getting done each hour? Like, that's actually one of the... I'm not even kidding. I've asked that.
Calculating your EHP.
And they go like, no, we don't have a specific number. But like, you know, I was working at grocery for a bit, and like, they have numbers.
Yeah.
They have numbers that actually require alts. Like, but no, in all seriousness, like, I enjoy, like, time limit, get this done, do it. And like, I think I can do it pretty well once I can turn off my brain and just like do it. When it comes to like certain money making methods, like I'll personally tend to gravitate towards like, if I need to make money, I will go and sit down and grind raids or Vorkath or Slayer and all that. But some people just can't, like, they physically can't because of like time constraints.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways. You can even like merchant is always a good backup. There's that one YouTuber who's like 18 accounts.
Mm-hmm.
They're always bonded, always. And every day he sits down for a couple hours and just flips on all the accounts.
Wow.
But he really enjoys doing that. Like, people find like, really like weird ways to make money. I mean, you can like look up a YouTube video on how to make money. It won't give you the answer that you're really looking for. It's like, how can you enjoy making money that is acceptable to you at that level?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if you want, you can let us know what exactly restrictions you're under for making money or what you're looking for. Some more details and maybe a better answer, but hopefully that's enough for you to work with and for goals and all that stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for writing the emails.
Yep.
I always love getting them. They're fun to read and they're fun to talk about and
like kind of like
think.
Kind of theory craft a little bit of like, well, not really theory craft.
No,
but
the worst.
Talk about concepts, I guess, in the game.
The worst number crunching.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know, because like lists, like they don't translate, in my opinion.
Yeah. So hopefully it works. Hopefully it fits what you're looking for. But if not, let us know some more details.
Yeah. But
anyways, let's wrap this bad boy up. So if you do want to hang out with us in game, it's WildCC. Our email's thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Our Facebook is facebook.com/thewildernesspodcast. And our Twitter is @thewildernessrs.
Yeah. And side note though, if you are looking for lists of stuff, you can always just jump in there and ask, and there are lists available.
Yeah.
That would be way more digestible than if we were just to say it over audio. If you're that kind of person that likes lists, hang on the community too. Nice little plug-in.
Hell yeah. And then Deagin, you got your things you like to drop here.
Twitch, Twitter, Deagin RS.
And there it is. So ours.
Sorry to cut you off. We will, like, I'm almost 99 Slayer, and I'm not gonna have like a big, like, everyone come watch me get 99 Slayer, but I do want to have something fun for the community, because it's like, we talk about Slayer so much, and like, I can get like in an hour, well, almost half an hour, the new EHP rates if you give me a scythe and a spec transfer alt. But I will be like, quote unquote hosting, I guess we will be hosting a wild CC or the Wilderness Podcast raid mass.
Right.
At some point, I'll tweet about it. It'll be on the Discord. We'll talk about it on like the thing. We'll set a date. Next week, we'll announce the date. And literally anyone who's a member can come. I'll set up directions. I'll how to get there. If you die to the shamans or something, I can even escort you or something. But get as many people in as possible. If you're experienced, come in and flex on everyone with your T-bows. If you're inexperienced, just come in and die and have fun. Like, who cares?
Fashionscape it up.
Yeah. Even, don't just come in and bank stand and hope for an item, because it's not going to happen. But it'll be like a free-for-all. We'll just go there, have fun, get to know everyone. Everyone's pretty cool. There's a lot of new people that come in and hang out. There's a lot of people that listen, but they can't hang out because they're in clans and they're always raiding and stuff. But this gives you a chance to kind of, hey, I have the stats to raid, but I don't know any clans or any people that are willing to take me in. It's just good to kind of meet everyone, come say hi, come do the raid, flex, die, have some fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, be notifying to like my Twitter, even like our Twitter, like the Wilderness Podcast, Discord. We'll talk about in the episode with the date set and in the CC and all that, and it'll be good fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. So keep your eyes and ears out for that as more develop.
Yep.
Anyways, let's lead that into our song of the week, randomly chosen as Expedition. So Expedition is a music track that is unlocked during the Observatory quest. It can be also unlocked during Troll Stronghold.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And the raid will be an expedition.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, that works. That's tie-in.
Yeah.
Composed by Ian Taylor and came out March 2004. So, yep, that about does it for us here. Until next week. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah, have a good one.
Take care.